everybody, welcome to Directly to You. This is the 107th episode. I'm AJ, joined by Parker. We're Fanatix Four. We're joined by Max. He's LootPots. Only him. No one else.
No one else that works. Nobody can beat for sure.
Yeah. You can support our channel by going to youtube.com/fanatixfour or twitch.tv/fanatixfour and paying $4.99 to become a member or subscribe, respectively. Or if you got Twitch Prime, Amazon Prime, you link it to your Twitch account, you get a free subscription every month. You can give it to us and support us for free in these trying times. Where do you get for that, you may ask? You get loyalty badges, you get gaming time with us from time to time, you get free Switch keys, you get all sorts of stuff. You get access to us on Discord where you can talk to Duncan about how Switch Online is kind of bad. That's the most current discussion that's happening right now. To the minute.
Smart man. Duncan just knows what he's talking about.
Just knows what he's talking about.
Correct.
And
right?
He says yo,
He does say yo.
He does. But other than that, you could join our Discord also for free if you don't want to be a member or a subscriber on our Twitch account by clicking the link in the description, and then you could say something in general chat, and then people will say hi to you too. Like Cowboy, he'll tell you about Texas or something.
Conversations happen all the time. That's why I had to mute it.
Yep.
It's true.
How dare you mute my Discord?
I'm sorry. I've muted Discord as an app. I've just muted it.
Yeah. I have specific channels that are not muted, but because other ones just just gets crazy,
Yeah. I have one channel I get notifications for, and that's the supporters one. But I don't have any of the other ones muted. The only one I get notifications for,
right? Yeah,
is support.
I think that's the way it works for me too.
Yeah.
Well, hello guys. How's it? How's
how you doing?
Quarantine going for everyone?
Yeah, it's been a bit of an up and down. It's good that I get to play lots of Animal Crossing. It's bad that I don't get to sort of go outside and see my girlfriend and stuff like that. But luckily for me, my life's not really been flipped upside down in terms of work and stuff, because I've just been business as normal. But we've been working from home, whereas there are people that aren't quite as lucky as that. So it's been interesting watching all the stories sort of flood in from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I work from home anyway, so
yeah, true. Yep. Do you work from home as well, Parker? Because I know you work.
I'm like half and half normally, and now 100% from home. So there you go.
We're safe. Everyone else needs to stay safe as well. So stay safe, everyone.
It's true indeed. But speaking of, you said playing Animal Crossing. Before we get into the news for today, you guys playing any games? I've got a couple that I'll wait to talk about during the news bits.
Yeah,
but
that's what I see. That's the thing. That's what I was going to do. So the only thing that I've been playing that is not related to news, well, actually, it's related to news, but Smash Brothers. That's it. That's all of it. I need to get back to playing Mystery Dungeon, but I've been playing so many other things that I don't know when or how.
Yep.
A lot happening right now. There's a lot coming out and happening.
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys have been getting on some drop today, now out stuff.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah. So, and Animal Crossing obviously as well, but I mean we can wait and talk about that when we talk about my video. Mm-hmm. Just because bundle it all in, our progress and whatnot. Max, is there anything you've been playing besides those?
Nope. Cool. Other than fast and loose with the quarantine rules, no. No, I did download. I have no idea what it's called. Hang on, it's probably in this list somewhere. Shinsekai Into the Depths. I bought it.
Yeah.
I opened it and was like, "This is nice," and then went back to Animal Crossing. So,
is it $20? Well, I guess pounds like.
Yeah, it's like 16 quid.
Okay.
So it is about $20. Yeah, I had a bunch of points that I've been saving up, so I just got it.
Oh, I did download something that, again, I put a PSA about this out on Twitter. I haven't played it because I didn't have a reason to yet. But Drawful 2 right now, which is from the Jackbox Party Pack game, there's from the Pack 1, there's Drawful 1, and then Drawful 2 is a standalone. It's 9 cents on the US eShop.
Games like that.
Whoo, boy. I mean, there's a bunch of cheap ones, but like that's a good one. Because usually the cheap ones are kind of garbo.
Pikuniku is one of the Devolver Digital games, which I know you guys are big Devolver fans. Pikuniku is down to like $1, 89 cents for us.
I think it went back up today, maybe. I just checked the eShop. for other things, and that one was showing like $13 again or something like that.
Sorry,
So,
everyone. I've got it now for
well, there you go.
so I'm going to enjoy that at some point whenever I get around to it.
Yep. So Drawful 2 is good. If you played Drawful 1, Drawful 2 is pretty much, you'd think like, well, how would they change it and make it a 2? It's fairly similar. There's, I guess, maybe new prompts and stuff. You have 2 colors that you can use, which is cool or whatever. But then also after you're done, and this is the best part about it, it sends you a link that you can look at all the pictures again that you did, which like, that's pretty fun because, you know.
Jackbox does that.
Yep.
You play TKO on Jackbox for real?
I have 3, and that's like the only one that I haven't played on there.
Very similar in that you have pictures and draw, and then after you can then look at the t-shirts you've made. You can buy them as well, so you can buy them as a t-shirt. They'll ship out to you. And there's been a couple of times where you do a great joke that you're all laughing at. You're like, do I buy the t-shirt? By the time it actually gets here from America, I'm like, I don't get this. I don't get this joke. So we haven't bothered, but there's been some great t-shirts.
Yeah, nice. It's a good time. Well, cool. Okay, well, in that case, hey, you guys want to get into talking about this news?
Sure.
It's going to take us a million years.
Yeah, it usually takes forever.
So we'll just get right into it. The thing that we're talking about today is that the Nintendo Direct Mini, well, a Nintendo Direct happened. It was the Nintendo Direct Mini. It was yesterday for us now.
Which is like,
look at that.
It's so very nebulous. this thing is nearly 40. It's like in the same like time frame as a regular Direct.
Yeah.
So
well, it was 28 minutes.
It was like almost a half an hour.
It's mini as in to say, don't expect big.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Like looking at past Directs, I think that in the grand scheme of things, like recently in the Switch days, the Directs have been pretty consistently really good. But in the grand scheme of things, this is kind of a normal Direct.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, the people like our idea of Directs has been changing over time, probably. So if we were to zoom all the way out and be like, this is equivalent to a really big one for 2014, then like that doesn't quite, the math doesn't quite add up.
I don't
for
even
most
know if it's just 2014, because there's been like recent Directs where like we've had conversations where a Smash Brothers announcement upended the whole thing. That says that the Direct was not that big of a deal.
Right.
But there were multiple things in here that I see people talking about over the Smash Brothers announcement. In fact, the Smash Brothers announcement is probably the thing I see people talking about the least.
Yep.
Yeah, probably. Mostly because it wasn't a full announcement, I guess, was it? It was like, it's going to be an announced character, more information later, which is not concrete enough to be like, but Springman was a assist trophy. How could the rules?
Yeah, I don't know about that, because everybody was talking about the announcement of Banjo and Hero before we saw them.
True.
But what do you mean? Before we saw them in engine, like in the game? Oh yeah, but that's because they had actual but that's because we had actual like hype reveal trailers, quote unquote, as opposed to this one was like, and by the way,
but we didn't, because the reveal trailer for Banjo came out when we saw Banjo in engine, because he was announced the same time as Hero.
Yeah, right.
That dominated conversation, didn't it?
Yeah, but like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like,
I don't think the in-engine part,
they got revealed in the same way, where it was just like a logo being like, we're getting a character from this game, more information later.
Well,
and
no,
everybody got hyped about that.
It had the whole like Donkey Kong, like the rare thing, and like Banjo falling in from the sky. Like that was an actual trailer for a character. Yeah,
he even ran around as well. Immediately started running and.
It was Joker. It was Joker that we just got like a thing of like no actual gameplay. And
we got no gameplay, but I think the trailer is the significant part. Like there being
a trailer for ARMS too. It just wasn't like a Smash Brothers thing. It was like how the
I would say there was an announcement for ARMS. There wasn't a trailer for ARMS, and I mean like that's fine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but just in terms of like I think if they had done similar
basically what I'm saying is I think we got the same amount of information that we got from those characters. All we got is
information. Yes. Yeah. I think that's the thing with all this is like, we're just watching advertisements, and advertisements can be done well or poorly for the exact same information. So I think like information wise, if we're just like breaking it down, like, oh, we got the same information, that's probably works
Also,
out
the
hype-wise,
announcement
like,
of more fighters in general wasn't a full trailer, but that took over the conversation when that was announced.
I mean,
Yeah,
nevertheless,
it's just lukewarm, isn't it? Arms
then
is
again,
lukewarm.
I did see, like, yesterday, Arms was trending on Twitter and had like 12 point something thousand tweets or whatever. So like, I think it still was a big deal, but you're right. I mean, it wasn't like a huge deal, and they made sure to kind of show it as not being a huge deal at the time as well, which, I mean, it's not good or bad. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I think that people are like either on one end of the spectrum or the other, when in reality this direct was somewhere in the middle. Like, this direct was not terrible at all.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, like, as far as it being marketed as a mini and stuff like that, I think has to do, partly with the length, although barely, because we've had real directs, quote unquote, real general directs that are this same length, maybe even shorter within the Switch's lifespan. So like, I think there's that, but I think it's the announcement of it the day of is a big part of it. And like, big first party new reveals kind of a thing.
Usually the end, every single direct has had, or in more recent times, has had like a new game revealed, like from Nintendo. I think
this had multiple new games revealed from Nintendo.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, like an inside, like an exclusive made by Nintendo, a first party title, something that's not the sort of the minigame collection or what was the other one? It was the get a job.
The Good Job.
Good Job. Yeah. So Good Job is sort of like the stretchers and snipper clips in that it's sort of like they are publishing an indie team's work. But if it was like a new Nintendo IP made by Nintendo,
wait, do we even know if they're? I don't think we know.
Yeah, they published it. They confirmed they published it.
I know that, but I'm saying, do we know what team made it?
Yeah, Pandemic, I think their name is, or something like that, or starts with a P.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but it's a team. They've not made anything really major before. This is like their first release that I've been aware of, and that's only because it's been in a Nintendo Direct. But it's the same. I think it's the same sort of agreement that the Stretchers had and that Snipper Clips had. So I'm not sure if I would class it as like a Nintendo release, because the same as I wouldn't say that Snipper Clips is a Nintendo game, even though it's a Nintendo exclusive published by Nintendo, because it's made by a party that also, you know, makes games.
I mean, even like putting Box Boy and Box Girl in that same camp, even though that is developed by Nintendo, I think still the same idea of it being like, I don't know what the right word that I'm trying to think of is, but, you know, like a tentpole release versus being a smaller release. And like,
but when's the last big tentpole release that we got in general?
What do you mean?
Like in general, like in terms of like, when's the last time a Nintendo Direct announced a new game that we didn't know about? That was a release.
If I think back, every Direct has had one. So like the September Direct had Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. The summer one had a couple of things. Breath of the Wild 2. Some other ones. So I think there's a lot of like technicalities aside, because there are a lot of technicalities where I think we can clump different things in different ways, but they definitely didn't treat this. And I'm not saying it's bad at all.
I don't understand the rationale behind that, where it's like a game like Xenoblade Chronicles.
Right.
Granted, I'm like interested in playing it and all that. I don't understand how that's more exciting than, even if the game is smaller, a new game like Good Job or whatever else. You know, like we've played Xenoblade Chronicles. It's come out on 2 platforms at this point.
I don't know. I think you're looking at this as a content, not even just a content creator, but like analytically more so than
just as somebody that wants new experiences.
Right. Yeah.
And I would weigh playing, even if it was like a graphical increase or new DLC effectively with the epilogue or whatever, I would say a game that's newer, like a Ninjala or a Bravely Default 2 or something like that, is more exciting than a port or like a remake or whatever you want to call it of Xenoblade Chronicles. Especially since that game like was re-released 4 years ago.
On the
3DS.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to quantify exactly, in the sense that saying something's more exciting than something else is 100% true on an individual basis, but like we kind of have to defer to general hype or whatever to be able to actually say if something's more exciting than something else. Because like if 3,000 people are more excited for this one game than this other, but we're more excited for the other one, then probably as far
but that's
as like,
what I'm saying. Are more people excited for a Xenoblade Chronicles remake than an update on Animal Crossing or the announcement of Ring Fit download or whatever?
I think so, because I think it's the feeling in a direct, again, like I'm not downplaying this direct at all. I'm just saying like the feeling of surprise. There weren't a ton of like first party surprises in the same way. Like there was like, oh, what's that thing? That's cool. But the reason they marketed as many on purpose was because they knew, and obviously they did, that like we're not at a point where we can announce a lot of big first party AAA surprise games, whatever. Hey, Max is gone. See you later, Max.
Rip.
He'll probably be back in a minute. So that's what I think in any case, as far as why it was labeled as a mini, because they didn't want people's expectations to be something out of proportion with what ended up actually, coming to fruition, which I think was a smart move for what it's worth. Because there are some people that were disappointed with it for what it is. And
I think people are disappointed with literally every direct.
Yeah, pretty much.
So looking at September direct, there is more here. There is more here. There is.
I mean, it's longer. So yeah. It's longer. So yeah, of course. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I guess it's more, a combination of the fact that it was shorter and perhaps.
Yeah, I think that this basically what I'm saying is this is somewhere in the middle. It's like some nebulous.
It felt big for mini directs to me.
Direct mini, but it's not like on par with the recent directs.
Yeah.
Well, the last mini direct we had Tropical Freeze,
Mario Tennis Aces.
Yeah, was that in that? And it also had
Kirby Star Allies was dated.
Yeah, ended with Dark Souls Remastered.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So that was the last mini one we got, and then I don't want to think back that far. But, you can definitely. I guess you can see why they'd refer to something as a mini direct, because if you call it a full direct and then there's no, here's one more thing, and it's something that we didn't already know about, then cool. But this I guess, being a mini means that you can just do updates and just do this is what's happening, and just do smaller scale games that maybe appeal to less people and not upset everyone else. Obviously there are people that are going to be upset, but if you call it a direct and you end on an update to Pokemon DLC, that's going to upset a lot of people. If you end a mini direct with a Pokemon DLC, it's like, well, that was the mini direct, that was what it was.
I think if they had a spare new announcement laying around, it would have been very beneficial to have put that as the last announcement. I mean, we'll talk about when we get to Pokemon Sword and Shield and all that stuff. Because I don't feel like that announcement still even gave us enough new information to feel like it really capped it off in a big way. It was like, okay, yep. That's kind of what we knew, but that does fill in some gaps. You know what I mean? Where like, if they had something that they could have done it just for the mass population to feel like, a Breath of the Wild 2 moment, where even if you felt like the E3 Direct was lackluster before that, as soon as Breath of the Wild 2 announcement happened, you'd be like, well, that did it. This was actually great. I was wrong. So having something like that. But then again, with everything going on right now, I'm not surprised if they just can't. Yeah. And that's fine. And I'm sure that was the case, so it's,
we should just jump into some games now then, because we can argue about classification.
I agree. So first off, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and this is probably, Max, one of the main reasons why you wanted to come on.
Actually, yeah, it was this and Animal Crossing. Yeah, just two things that I've been spending a lot of time with recently. Yeah, man, this looks great. This just looks so good. I'm sure you saw like I tweeted yesterday about how like the original game is so highly regarded and has such a good reception, but everything we've seen of this just seems to be better. The visuals are better, the quality of life stuff is better, the frankly annoying heads-up display and menus UI better. The fact that you don't have to just wear like a mishmash of ugly armor to have the best stats, and you're in your cutscenes wearing like a fish head and a weird like silver gimp suit. Now you can just wear whatever you want to wear that looks cool and then have the stats elsewhere.
Okay, yeah. Tell me more about that, because I saw your tweet about that and I was like, I don't know what he's talking about.
So, if I was to pick up, because every piece of armor you have, when you wear it, right? So there are sets of armor, but there are going to be like boots that are better than the boots you currently have. So you're in a cutscene, this pivotal moment in the game, and you're just wearing this complete mishmash of armor that don't go together. Doesn't make sense. You're just doing it for the stats. There's also a character called Dunban who his best build in the game is he's not wearing any clothes. He's completely naked, and then for that he gets these stat boosts to make him good on your team, right? But in the cutscenes he's naked, so it's stupid. Whereas now you can there's a separate slot where you can put fashion gear, so you can put the gear you want them to be wearing in the fashion slots, and then you get the stats from the other gear. Obviously, if you take them off of the fashion slots, you just wear whatever's in the actual slot. Right. So you can put Shulk in Shulk's normal outfit, play through the whole game with him wearing his canon outfit, I guess, that makes sense. But then also you're still getting the stat boost from the other stuff. So it's just nice. It's more from like playing the game and not being in a cutscene and going, why am I wearing this? Why am I wearing this jungle outfit? You know, you can just pick how you want to look, which I think is great.
Yeah.
It's a good little addition. And also, there's new content. There's a new
Future Connected. Is that right?
Yeah.
Which seems like probably will connect to Chronicles 2.
Yeah. That seems to be. I think it seems to take place after, because the what's it called? The capital city. So the capital city's moved. So obviously there's some stuff that's been moved. I'm not sure whether this stuff, the Connect, whatever it's called, Future Connect thing, is the bow on his shoulder stuff, or if the bow on his shoulder stuff is in the
it's just part of it. That's a good question.
Because you could always go to the shoulder, or the shoulder was cut out of the original game, whereas this very much seems like it's being added in after, because of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So the shoulder stuff could still be in the game. I guess we'll see what happens when it happens. But yeah, what are you? I mean, I know that you've not played this one, have you?
Nope.
And will you be playing it?
AJ, did you play? You played the original, right?
I played a little bit on Wii. I played it on 3DS. A little bit more than that. I might play this. I don't know.
A little bit more than that.
Yeah. Like I said in my video, I think that Future Connected increased my interest because it's like stuff that nobody played before. So I don't just feel like I'm like going to be hearing Max talk about like, oh, this is so much better than when I played it the last 2 times.
Yeah. I mean, I'll definitely be playing it. I really enjoyed Xenoblade Chronicles 2 a lot. I was playing it at the same time as Mitch, which was a bit of a mistake because the way we play games generally, like I like to take my time and like wander around, find all the bits and pieces, and he just like bolts for the door kind of thing, like just wants to see where it's going and all that, which is great and fine. But that means that when we're playing games at the same time, then and like at some point early on, it'll be like if we're watching a show at the same time. Like right now, we can theorize about My Hero or something like that because we're both caught up. Being like, oh, I don't know what they're going to do with this. But when he'd be ahead of me in Xenoblade Chronicles, he'd be like, well, what are your theories on what this is? I'm like, that's not fun to talk about if you already know what's going to happen. Yeah. And he'll be like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. On both directions, like, come on. So that was just a funny thing in terms of how that was kind of played. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. I've heard lots of great things. I really don't know much in detail about the original insofar as like I've heard good things about it as a whole, but not like this thing is amazing about it and that, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of room for
pick out specific things. If you liked 2, you're going to like 1 because 1's better than 2 in most ways. It's got better characters, better story, probably. I don't know. Actually, the world in 2 is really, all the different worlds in 2 are really nice. But 1's just got really good locations as well. So the music's really good as well. I know you like the music.
I do.
Pretty exciting time for you, I think, and for me. I pre-ordered the super duper sweaty vinyl edition that we're getting in Europe.
How much is that? I mean, it's sold out now, right? So it doesn't even matter how much it is.
I think it's still available on the official Nintendo store. I'm not sure. Okay. I'm not going to say it in case people rush there, but yeah, it was £90. So what does that work out?
That's not that bad. Yeah,
$100, I guess. I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah, like maybe a little over that. 105, 110.
Yeah, which is
$1 million. Probably $1 million.
It's $1 million. Wow.
For Monopoly money.
True. It's a bit pricey. I think I'm paying for a vinyl I'm never going to listen to. unless I can somehow put it into my Animal Crossing game and put it straight into my with the rest of my Nook albums.
Yeah,
Play it in my bedroom.
True, man.
Yeah, but
It
I
looks
think I'm
good.
excited to get it. I like having things, you know.
For the record, it's
Yeah.
$112.10.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, well there you go. Also on this, Benjamin Aquino has a question that I just pulled from Q&A to stick up here because it makes sense in context. He asks, now that Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition finally has a release date, do you think that the team at Monolith Soft will be working on a Xenoblade Chronicles X port? At one point, there was an interview saying that the game was too big and wouldn't happen, but I can't believe that.
I would like to, mostly because I got 6-7 hours into X and then just stopped playing it. But thinking back, it's definitely like one of the best looking Wii U games. In like, I was playing it like, how is this running on Wii U? Like, how is this game look this good? And there's all this stuff happening. And I was like, and I'm going to get a mech and I'm going to be able to fly around, and I never did. As I was playing through Xenoblade Chronicles 2, there was a point where I was like, man, I wish I played X. And it was just after I sold my Wii U. So I'm kind of hoping it does come to Switch for that reason, that I can finally play it and get the full Xenoblade experience.
I played more of X than any other Xenoblade game, and I regret it.
Yeah, that probably makes sense.
But I mean, I rarely buy that when developers are like, oh yeah, like I don't know if this can run. It's more of a thing of like, I don't know if we want to invest the time and money in that. Which
I think they'll probably end up. It could be depending on how well this game does, for one thing. And I was going to say the same things you did, AJ. We're just like, I think them saying, we're probably not going to do it isn't really necessarily worth it. It could mean something, but also even if it did mean something at the time, they could change their minds if they really want to, you know? So I think probably it wouldn't be before 2022 or something, like in 2 years. So we'll have a while, but yeah, I could see them doing it, or doing another new game after this one and then doing that as a port or something. So they've got a long time to change their mind if they want.
Or Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
True. Or Xenoblade, Xenoblade Narnia.
Or Xenoblade Chronicles Y.
True. Oh, you're so right. But yeah, so that's Xenoblade Chronicles. It's coming out May 29th, which is about when everyone is expecting it to. So that's cool.
Yeah, that came out like it leaked on a lot of retailers, but I don't know whether it actually leaked or if it was just a very lucky guess.
I don't know. I think it sounds like it had also been just behind the scenes chatter for a while. So I have no idea. Yeah. Could be a very lucky guess as well. But it's also coming out on May 29th, which is
a bad decision.
Not a great idea, is all of the 2K collections that they're bringing. So yeah, that was the next announcement. BioShock collection, Borderlands collection, XCOM 2 collections, which, side note, how is there, I don't know much about XCOM. How is there an XCOM 2
that's the one,
collection?
I like
Is it because of DLC?
That never came, I never thought of that. Yeah, how is there a collection?
It's one game, right?
That was like the first thing that I thought of, because I had when I was writing the video, I knew, like, because I just watched the direct, I knew all the stuff that got announced, and I was like, I think this said XCOM 2 collection, but that can't be right. So then I went and I checked, and I was like, no, yeah, that's what it says. That's kind of dumb.
It's on Steam.
Okay.
You get
what all does it come with?
You get XCOM 2 War of the Chosen. You get XCOM 2 War of the Chosen Tactical Legacy Pack.
Oh my god.
You get XCOM 2 Resistance Warrior Pack. You get XCOM 2 Reinforcement Pack. Now you can buy that on Steam right now for £72.33, which kind of makes.
What does any of that mean?
Kind of makes the price on Switch being $50, whatever it's going to be.
Oh yeah, is it 50? Let me find out.
It's definitely going to be full price. It's 100% going to be full price.
Oh yeah, I mean, because you meant £50. I thought I was thinking like $50 and being less than.
I also said cents a bunch of times as well. Sorry.
Yeah, you did. No, but I don't think we have prices on this yet. On these yet.
Could be not.
I think you can pre-order them on Walmart, can't you?
Yeah, but Walmart usually just throws out random prices until they know.
They do.
Oh.
It's
and then
silly.
They change it. It's like Amazon. Like Amazon's like, hey, we got the new price on this thing.
I would be willing to put money on these games. Full price.
GameStop for what it's worth, which is probably the same thing, is putting the pre-order at $50, which is actually okay. Here we go. We'll maybe find out Nintendo
I would look
website,
at Nintendo or the eShop,
and it's loading. It's gonna say a number or not say a number here in a minute. Oh, I don't. Okay, yeah, it doesn't say. It says redeem game code, but it doesn't say the
I don't think
price.
we have a price on those yet.
I'm going to guarantee they're full price. There's no way.
Yeah. No, for sure. I can't imagine any way that it's not, especially being collections and stuff. But that's cool. Okay. It says it's the award-winning strategy game XCOM 2, 4 DLC packs, and then lists them, and War of the Chosen expansion all in one package. So there you go. That's that.
It's kind of dumb that they called it a collection, though.
Yeah,
that's definitely
like Legacy Edition or Legendary Edition.
A definitive edition. That's definitely
right.
like one of those situations.
Complete edition, something like that.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it seems like maybe they were just going with the collection nomenclature going from the other ones. But I mean, otherwise, are you guys excited about BioShock, Borderlands, or that one?
I'm down to play BioShock. Borderlands.
Have you ever played BioShock?
No, and that's why I'm down. Because mostly because of Infinite. I saw BioShock Infinite towards the end of like PS3 and Xbox One. I was like, oh, this game's not brown. That's dope. You know, like every game in that generation was all brown and gray and gross looking.
Wait, what's Steve doing on here? That's
but it's true. It's just with
Steve from LootPots. Check him out. He
yes, brown. But also I don't know, because we established Max is the only one on LootPots.
Yeah,
that's true.
I remember LootPots.
Also, Max, are you able to turn up your volume again at all? I think when you left and came back, it might have turned it back down.
Oh, yeah.
For what it's worth. Maybe it didn't, but you're a little bit quiet.
It didn't. I'm going to lean forward.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Works for me. But yeah, BioShock. I also, same. Like, I don't know if I care about BioShock or not. I don't care about shooty games at all.
That's not even the same. I didn't say that. I said that I'm down. I'm going to play BioShock. Borderlands, I don't care. XCOM, I don't care.
Yeah. I was saying, I know that you said...
But you said same. You agreed. You weren't listening to me, Parker.
No, I said same about BioShock, that I would be interested about it. But then I said, but I don't know if I'm interested about it because I don't know if I care about shooting games.
Doesn't make sense.
And it's not. I know it's not like a shooter, right? It's like an adventure,
kind of Metroid realm of
kind
of, but not sort of situation.
I don't know about that one. BioShock's more like cinematic in a way, in that it is.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not like
as far as how it uses
your conduit into the game. Your combat in Metroid is shooting things, but it's not a shooter. That's what BioShock is like.
Okay, yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah. Same for Borderlands. You barely even shoot anything in that.
Yeah, not shoot a single thing.
Not shoot anything in BioShock as well because you just use the powers. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be interested in when BioShock drops to like half price. Borderlands, I just have no interest in Borderlands at all. I've played BioShock 1 and some of Infinite, but Borderlands I've tried to play one and was just like, no, it's not happening. XCOM I had on PC and played them, then Mario Rabbids was just better. So why would I play it?
The thing with Borderlands is the like remasters or definitive editions or whatever came out on other consoles back in July or August or something like that.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Because that was like
yeah.
It was like around E3, post E3 kind of time before Borderlands 3 came out, I think. So I sort of feel like it missed that window. Like it would have been more people would have been more hyped to pick it up at that point, maybe. But then again, I don't know. I think there's also the crossover between Switch and other consoles at this point is just an interesting thing unto itself. So I'll be interested to see how those sell as they go forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see more games like this on Switch because there's no reason for games like this to not be on Switch.
Right. Which actually, on that note, this was just in the sizzle reel, but I want to grab it from there first because it relates to this a little bit. Burnout Paradise coming from EA. Yeah. The other ones in the sizzle reel all were like, cool, yep, that makes sense. So we probably won't talk about them specifically. But Burnout Paradise, thoughts on that from y'all?
I think Bob likes that game a lot, and that's all I know about it.
It's something my friends have always been big Burnout fans, like in school, and never played it. So when the remaster was announced for everything other than Switch, I was like, I really hope this thing comes to Switch at some point. And now it's coming to Switch. I just have no interest. So,
I think, that also, same kind of thing. That seems like a shame to me. a little bit for companies to put the remasters or whatever on other places and then bring it to Switch. Like, I guess their hope is that people will double dip because they'll get the other console ones and then they'll get the Switch one again later. But in any case, it feels like it loses some of its, momentum or hype or something by the time the Switch one comes around.
I think releases like this just generally feel more like they feel like they matter, but more in a sense that like, oh, I have some extra money, I'll pick this up. Not in a like counting down the day,
right? Yeah,
releases and you.
I think the interesting thing about this one for me is just the fact that it's EA doing not FIFA and not one of their like 2 indie games that they did.
But also, it's same song, different dance because it's still just a remaster, like that whole a port of a remaster at that.
But if it sells decent, then maybe they'll do more of those kinds of games, like Sims games, and I don't think they'll do any new
FIFA
games.
Sold decently, and that didn't like open the door for anything else for EA.
Yeah, I feel like they probably look at FIFA differently, and I think it's sold way worse compared to other. Like, I think it's sold fine on Switch, but it sells so well on a PlayStation, for example, that it's like,
yeah.
But I don't know.
I think it's more of like as far as like the importance of FIFA on Switch, it's a regional thing because like almost the entirety of Japan, if they're playing that game, they're playing it on Switch. So like if they want Japan to be invested in that game, it's got to be on Switch. So.
And then in the UK, everyone's just playing FIFA on PlayStation, and they'll just only play FIFA. They'll just do number 1.
Yep. It's crazy. But yeah, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 DLC. Any thoughts on this, y'all?
This is way too late. Like, I would have been freaking hyped for this if this came out 2 months after the game came out. I'm like, oh yes, I'm down.
Well, I mean, other DLC came out 2 months after the game came out. Like, this is the 3rd wave, I think.
Yeah, I know. I know. But I'm saying like this should have came out in that window if it were to like get me excited.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
I'm way far removed from this game. Like, I have no desire.
This also feels like the first DLC that seems to have had a story in it, whereas other ones have just been like challenge packs.
That's true.
It's like what I like best about the Marvel Ultimate Alliance was playing through the comic book stories of the comic book characters and that. Whereas the other DLCs were just like play through the same levels again with different characters. I'm like, nah, I'm alright. That's why I didn't buy it. But I don't know if this is going to be enough because it's two things, isn't it? It's like the Fantastic Four stuff with Talks of Doom, and then it's like the bit with the Celestial, which I think is its own thing. I don't know, but it's too little, too late. I think for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's neat. Timing's bad.
Yeah, right. I mean, and I wonder, there's probably some people that bought a Switch for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, I'd guess. So for them, this would be exciting.
I want to say there's a good 20,000 people.
Yeah. I mean, probably that sounds about right. But it's out now. So, I mean, I guess if it was blowing up the world, we'd know about it right now. And it's
I don't know anyone that owns the DLC, I don't think.
Also, for what it's worth, there's so much stuff that's out now from this. And not a ton of them were like the hugest things in the world. Most of them were smaller things that are all out now. So like not a lot of them are really, blowing up Twitter and all that kind of stuff. But that one definitely didn't seem to be one of the top ones.
Out now stuff ever does though. Out now stuff is usually smaller.
There are some stuff like Hollow Knight and Fortnite.
Yeah, for sure.
Fortnite, I would say, Hollow Knight, not so much. I think Hollow Knight was definitely a slow burn.
Max, your camera froze and you were making this face.
Oh, brilliant.
And it was hilarious.
Really excited.
Usually that's what that stuff is. It's like it could be a situation like a Celeste where in retrospect people are like, oh wait, this game's really good, but it's never really something that's like, oh man, I've been waiting years for this. And it shadow dropped.
I mean, like Smash DLC, that would do it, but that's a different thing.
For Hollow Knight. I remember before it came out, and I think I was on Reddit more than I was on Twitter at the time. And the every single day there was at least like 2 where's Hollow Knight. They've been promising Hollow Knight. They said it was going to be here. They said they were going to announce it so many times that when it finally dropped, that's why it sold like so much.
Yeah, but that's a different kind of shadow drop even then. Like these are games that we didn't know were Switch games.
Okay, yeah, true.
And they're saying out now. I don't think that there's ever been a game that we just learned about in a direct. It was out now and it was a big deal.
Yep. I can see that.
Kirby game that you liked.
The game sucked, and that's what I'm saying. That's my point. Those games always suck.
Yeah.
Except for I don't know about these ones. I do want to check out. Well, we'll get to it.
That's true. And the next one being Shinsekai Into the Depths.
Yeah, and this game
also out now.
This game came out just despite Max. Because Max was just talking about how Capcom doesn't support Switch, and they're like, "Oh yeah," and they freaking.
This isn't a new game. This is not a new game.
It's new to consoles.
Yeah. That's fair.
So what was this game? It was an
Apple Arcade exclusive.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
it was one of the
so
ones.
That also means that, like, even then, I think that for them, this is like record time, even if it was like a port situation, because Apple Arcade came out 3 months ago.
Yeah, like October maybe last year.
Yeah.
Ish. So I'm 5. You know,
it must have been after October because I was at a new job, so it was in November time. It must have dropped in November. Yeah, this is an interesting one because this was like one of the 3 Apple Arcade games that were like really talked about. There was this, there was the Shantae, and there was the one. It was like
Iron 2
or Rock something, or
was that a thing?
Oh, there was also
there
was the
I don't know if that was Oceanhorn 2 exclusive.
Game. What was
it was at the time. I mean, it still is now.
I know it's on Apple Arcade. I just didn't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
What, Shantae?
No, Oceanhorn 2. Sorry.
Oh, Oceanhorn 2. Yeah, that's an exclusive still, I think, for Apple Arcade. I'm pretty certain. But yeah, this is the one I probably would be the most interested in. And that's why I bought it. It looks interesting. I thought when I first
Max being interested in a Metroidvania.
I didn't know it was Metroidvania.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Today.
How did you not know that?
Because I didn't actually watch this bit of the direct.
Okay.
I watched this, but I still didn't get a great idea of what it was.
From watching it, I was immediately like, "Oh, okay, it's another Switch Metroidvania." Add it on, throw it in the pile.
I was like. At first, I thought it might be what's the one, Subnautica, and I was like, I'm interested. And then they were like, something. I was like, I'll be back in a second. So I'd just finished my dancing for Xenoblade, pretty much, and then the residual dancing was sort of coming off. So I disappeared for a second, came back towards the end of it. It was like, oh, it's that thing from Apple Arcade, cool. And it wasn't until today that I looked it up and looked at a review, and like one of the first few words was Metroidvania, and I was like, eh? So I bought it immediately.
Nice.
Without even knowing if I'm going to play it. So yeah.
How much is this one? I didn't like $20.
I think it is like 20.
I'm looking it up now.
We spoke about at the start. 16 quid, 20 quid.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It's $20. Yeah, I just looked it up. It's $20 here. So, well, cool. Yeah, there's that. Let us know how it is, Max, because
I will.
Whatever.
If I ever get around to playing it with Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Animal Crossing Easter update, the Bunny Day. We know about that some more. Which main thing seems to be
Zipper, man, hiding the eggs.
So yeah, it seems like the mechanic of it is we'll find eggs all over the world and craft the furniture type things. And there you go. Crafting's fun. I'm down.
Yeah, Ella told me that this usually happens for one day.
Oh, okay. That's
now it's happening for a whole 12 days, and she's like, "Wow, it means you don't just, you're not busy on Easter." And then you're like, "Well, that's it. Now I've missed out for another year." Or
of all times for them to make it one day, they could have made it one day this time.
Yeah,
you mean just that's true.
Yeah,
like you guys are home anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but especially because if we're, I guess, like gathering so many eggs to be able to craft things or whatever, maybe it's just unrealistic to be able to grab enough eggs within one day. I don't know, but we'll find out. Looks fun.
Be more inclusive of people's schedules, I guess. I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah, it looks really good. It looks really fun. I mean, it doesn't look like it adds like an exciting must-play element, but it does add like a fun thing to do on Easter. Nice new character, some nice stuff to pick up and craft. So there's there's definitely a reason to play it. But it's not like, wow.
It's a Splatfest. That's the type of thing that, like, the vibe that they're definitely going for.
For sure. Do we know so if you time travel to, it sounded like you'd have to log in on April 1st and then the update would only get updated.
I think you might be able to time travel now because the update that installed it.
Yeah.
The day one update.
So if you can't, like, if that's not a thing, if there's going to be another, kind of further update and that's a real life thing, I wonder if then right afterwards they would do another update to disable it, at which point you can't time travel back to it. I'll just be interested to see how that part goes, because I
mean, they're already patching this game. They patched out the one exploit that people were using, the rotating.
To glitch things.
Yeah, like the switch or whatever. Yeah.
I think it definitely it definitely wouldn't be out there now, because otherwise we'd see it, right? Someone on Twitter.
That's what I would assume. Yeah, I would.
The Easter update.
Yeah, we definitely would have seen that if that was already out.
Yeah.
So I think they're probably going to
because they did say something about. Then again, they're not going to mention time traveling, but they said log in on April 1st, blah blah blah. So.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's also when they said that the update that we already installed is what enabled
yeah, right.
Maybe we're just gonna get like a little package, like when you go onto the eShop,
when you pre-ordered Smash DLC or whatever, and then you gotta download.
Yeah. Well, specifically with Animal Crossing, if I went on and I got that rug for being a Nintendo Switch Online member as a little piece of DLC, you click download. It takes a second to download. You restart the game, and then you can buy it in the game. So it could be a tiny little package. Takes a second to on the day to do it.
Is it a good rug? Because I haven't downloaded it yet.
It's green and it's got the leaf on it, and it's nice enough.
Throwing it away. I don't care.
It's free,
How much
is it leaf shaped, or is it?
How much can I sell it for?
It's square. It's a green square.
Okay.
How many bells is that going to get on the black market?
Yeah. It's 600 Nook miles, so it's not even. You don't even spend bells. Free.
Look at that. True. Okay.
I gotta be a Switch Online subscriber to give Tom Nook more money.
Yes.
Yep.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna enjoy it.
For what it's worth, Ashley's now also a Switch Online member, which is obviously the games is what'll get you there, because we were like, we want to travel to Mitch's Island together, and there wasn't any other way to do it besides biting the bullet. So there's that.
Yep.
There it is.
But we only got the 3-month one because we were like, we'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
I could have just did the family plan.
Well, at this point, I'm like halfway through a year for mine, so I'm going to wait till mine is up and then get a family plan and put her on mine.
I think you might still be able to do it.
Really?
Stacks, I think, but you might want to double check on that.
Yeah. In any case, there's that. So there you go. And next, good job.
There you go. I'm very down for
this. Did you play this at all, Mac?
I didn't get a chance to play it yet, but I do want it. I was playing Animal Crossing, and then I was playing other things that we'll get to. But yeah, I didn't have time to play it yet. I do want to, though. So that will be one of my many missions this weekend.
I think this will be one of those. I'll pick it up when I'm bored, and it's like, what can we play together? I mean, right now that game needs to be Animal Crossing, but there's going to be a time when the quarantine's over and I get to see Ella again. It's like, let's play a game together. This is a co-op game. Why do you keep drinking that you cut from the side?
That's how it's how I do, and I will stop it for you.
No. Please keep doing it.
How dare you?
It's honestly, so it started a long time ago, and it was when I was, I think, trying to keep talking to somebody and not like, yeah, that's how I drink most of the time. It's so that I can keep looking while still drinking and not be like, oh yeah, totally. But I'm sorry that I'm a weirdo and drink a little bit out of the side of my mouth because I care about human interaction.
What are we talking about?
Good job.
Yeah, probably going to think of at some point. It's very much like the stretches. I'll play. It'll take us a day. We'll play through it and go, that was fine, and then won't think about it again. Although the stretches I have been thinking about, because I'm still podding through a review for it. But Animal Crossing and working from home really just sucked up all my time. So
yeah, it'll do that to you, as we now know. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to pick this one up or not. It looks like a fun time. I also didn't pick up the stretchers, but I kind of would like to have. But you kind of need to have the right people to play that with. And Ashley doesn't super care about silly puzzle games kinds of things. So I just have to have the right person to play with. So.
For what it's worth, the only other person that had fun with the stretchers other than me was Ella. Everyone else, all of the other 4 people I played it with, just seemed to have no fun at all. And they were really just going through the motions of playing the game to play with me, which I quite enjoyed it, and so did Ella.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it might be a couples thing.
Yeah, could be. Well, there you go.
There it is.
There it is. Catherine Full Body coming out July 7th. Not a whole lot to say about that. It finally came.
I thought it was.
I know people are excited for this game. I'm not one of those people.
Just because it's an Atlas game, I was interested in it when it was announced for PS4.
That's even more of a reason why I don't care. No, I'm joking.
But then now I've seen the gameplay of it, I'm like, is this just like Quibby, whatever his name is?
Oh, it reminded me of Pushmo, right?
Yeah. It's weird. I thought it was like I thought it was like an RPG, but it's kind of like a dating sim mixed with a puzzle. But I don't know. I'm confused.
I couldn't tell you.
Story, man. It's all about that.
Sounds like
story. Will they? Won't they? Will they? Won't they?
I mean, it's well received. It's obviously got a cult following.
Mm-hmm.
I might give it a go. It's one of those things where I didn't play Bayonetta until I played it. All this time I was like, yeah, this game looks kind of cool. I played it and was like, oh, I get it now. I get why people like this. So maybe we'll be playing with this.
I'm realizing now, just as a general theme about this direct, is there were a lot of like, oh, finally, okay, there we go, finally, check that off the box kinds of moments, Borderlands, BioShock, XCOM, this one, for example, Going Fort Ninjala is one. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Some other ones like that, where it's like, okay, well, now we know those. We're done. Like, that's good to know.
Yeah, a lot of stuff that probably, I don't know what, if any of this stuff is all just collected from delays or whatever, but
it's the kind of direct that they usually squeeze direct like this out sometime before E3, where they're like, here's an update direct.
Right.
A bunch of like smaller stuff.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. But yeah, the next thing, Ring Fit Adventure Rhythm Mode,
it's
out now.
Fun.
Yeah,
I don't have this game, so like
I do have it. I played it one time. I think I hurt my back doing it, and
game or the rhythm mode?
The game,
oh.
The original game. I've got. There's a ceiling fan right there. I wasn't playing in this room, but I was playing in my living room. And I think the way I was doing things in the regular game, like I was kind of avoiding the ceiling fan a little bit. And so, I like turned it on one of the harder difficulties because I was like, I'm going to get a workout. And like my back was legitimately messed up for a good couple weeks after that. And then I helped lift a couch and really messed it up for probably 2 months or so. So it's back to normal now. So I'll probably give this a shot. Good time.
I remember being very drunk on a train, listening to one of this podcast.
Uh-huh.
You guys were talking about about Ring Fit, and you were saying like, I'm going to get Ring Fit, and we're going to see in a couple of months' time. We're going to see if I've lost any weight or how to my body.
Yeah, he was going to do like a whole thing. He was going
and I was just like on the train, like, can't wait to see how he does it. And now here we are, all this time later, and you just hurt your back. I wondered why you'd been so quiet about it all this time.
That was a large reason why that. So there you go. But rhythm game, it's cool, it's fun, it's neat. Next one, King's Bounty 2. Coming out sometime this year. I thought this looked cool. I've never heard of the series.
Is it an ICO?
I was aggressively uninterested. Like
Let me find out.
They were talking about it like this was like the most important game to ever grace the earth.
This is where I started scrubbing through. I was like, oh, wait, I can just skip bits I don't like. And I was like, okay, yeah, cool. There's the next bit. Okay, cool. Yeah, skip.
That's really funny.
This was around where I shifted because I was like, I watched it through the first time and I like watched it at like 2 times speed, and then I watched it again to be like, all right, let me go through, because initially I was going to like break down the entire thing, and this video was like already 12 minutes, which is longer than the entirety of it now. So and I was less than halfway through the direct. So I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So I cut out all the stuff I don't care about, and this was the game that set that off.
I lost.
Mm-hmm. I, on the other hand, was like, this looks cool. I might want to play this. So
I mean, that was one of the things that I thought. I was like, Parker's gonna like this game. This is an MDB game.
Yeah. It definitely seems like an MDB. For what it's worth, it looks like it's in the series of Heroes of Might and Magic, which I didn't know.
I don't know what that is. But
that was one of those games. Do you ever have things where it's like you're like 20? Well, yeah. Where you're like, I don't know, 23 or whatever, and you find something, you're like, that was 23. The thing from where I was like 7, and I couldn't remember what that thing was. What? This was a game where...
Why specifically those 2 ages?
I don't know. Some random ages. But so like as an adult, you find something that reminds you that like, oh yeah, I thought that was really cool when I was a kid, but it just wiped from my memory until now. Heroes of Might and Magic 3 was a game that one of my friends in France had, and we played it at his house a couple of times, and I thought it was super cool. Also, he had Quest 64. Same goes there, where I was like, what was that game we played on his Nintendo 64? It was an RPG. There's only 3 of them, so pretty easy to find it once I knew what I was doing. But yeah, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 was a game that I played at his house. I thought it was cool, and so on and so forth. So apparently it's in that series. But yeah, it's a like tactical, turn-based RPG kind of thing. It probably would be up my alley.
Any real-time strategy or sort of like base building strategy game just does not get me at all. Not for
what about, because like it seems like it's maybe within the Fire Emblem. It's not, but like Fire Emblem meets more board gamey setup. Does that? I guess it probably doesn't have much story, so that might not be up your alley for that reason.
There's just the word Metroid's not anywhere in that sentence, Parker. Know your audience, man.
So it's kind of like it's a turn-based strategy Metroid where you just stuck it in there. I think it looks probably cool, but we'll reevaluate as it comes closer to coming out. Like there are sometimes games where by the time they're coming out, I'm like, never mind. So we'll see. But if it's in, we talked about this a little bit before, but Smash Brothers announcement, we know it's going to be an ARMS character. So let's talk about it.
I think it's going to be, this is the thing, like in combination with all that ARMS stuff that happened, I think they're doing ARMS too. And I think that this character is going to be from that. Some type of like big expansion or.
It's definitely a possibility. I just wonder if, I don't know, I just wonder if it's one of those things that's like, well, where, you went so silent on this game, now you're going to drop a sequel of this stuff that's happening. It just seems odd. And also
they do that with all their games. They did that with Splatoon, where they get 2 years in and then they're like, all right, we're done and we're not talking about this game ever again.
I think it would be almost weirder if, I also am kind of on the fence about whether there'd be an ARMS 2, but it would be weirder if they were like, ARMS 2, by the way. And, it feels like having a dip would help set the next one up better to me.
And they did that's what I'm saying. They had
right, exactly. That's what I'm agreeing on that point, at least.
Max? They were still supporting Splatoon 1 when 2 was announced, weren't they?
No, not in any more ways than they are currently supporting.
Oh no, that's it. No,
the same way that they hard cut off Splatfest and doing all that stuff with Splatoon 2. That's what they did with Splatoon 1.
So what I'm thinking is the fact that Splatoon, we're now further away from Splatoon 2 than Splatoon 2 was from Splatoon 1. That's what I'm thinking. And that's been the case for like over a year. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Because Splatoon 1 was what, 2015?
Yeah, and then
2 was 2017. Wow, that was soon. Ooh, goodness. I don't know. I could see them doing an ARMS 2. My guess for the character is that it's going to be. Somebody else was talking about this too. I don't remember. But that it's going to be like multiple characters kind of a thing, where the different skins are different. Like it's Twintel
somebody was talking. I was on a different podcast earlier. I don't know if it'll be out by the time.
What were you?
Yes, I was on another podcast, and I was talking about ARMS, and they were saying the same thing. And having played ARMS, I doubt it.
That's
because the characters in ARMS are significantly like a big part of the game, as is a big part in pretty much any fighting game, is movement, and movement is all like drastically different. So I doubt that especially since like Sakurai now definitely even more so than ever really is really like particular about that sort of thing, making sure that the character moves and acts in the way that they do in their game. So making them all this one like amalgamation of a character would not really fit. I could see them doing something more.
I would think it honestly could be more like like Echo Fighters sort of each other, but like, and that would be the main gimmick or whatever, is that they are maybe like simple as far as characters go, they don't have.
I doubt that, because they're like ARMS already has so much depth. Like there's so many things that they could do with a single fighter. Them saying every fighter in one fighter And then
well, so
also
I'm
they
not
have
saying every fighter and one
multiple-
fighter. I'm saying like that that each fighter is not super. So like if you play as Ribbon Girl or whatever, that she just feels like Ribbon Girl, you know, just like Ribbon Girl, but doesn't necessarily have any like crazy extra flares. But then if you switched it to playing as Mummy Mask or whatever, Mummy Dude, then he would Master Mummy. Thank you. Then he would play like Master Mummy. But so again, that there's not any of the like arsene or the like extra things within how the character plays.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like to make them arms characters, like to put arms into the game, fundamentally, just with how arms works, they would have to be different because all their moves, more or less, are really far range moves. So that alone is a huge gimmick. So them putting that gimmick in there and then also being like every character.
I'm saying that would be the gimmick.
Just between yeah, but then they wouldn't be arms characters. If they couldn't be far range fighters and then also have that gimmick, then they wouldn't.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
You just said that. So wait.
No, so I'm saying kind of like how Pokemon Trainer has 3 completely different Pokemon that have their own moves and all that stuff, but they're within one. I'm saying if you had like a Bulbasaur, an Ivysaur, and a Charizard that take up the same slot, but changing the costumes switches between the 3. So you only pick one going into the fight, but they play completely separately or differently from each other. But then like individually, Charizard doesn't have any like crazy gimmicks of Charizards. He's got mechanics that are his and all that kind of stuff, but he doesn't have like like I don't know, Arsene.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
That kind of thing.
What I'm saying is like
arms characters down to being brawlers that have range, and then work on that for each individual character.
Yeah, exactly.
Their own individual flair to it, and even then you could then go one step further and say that a down B changes from the electric fist or the fist that shoot the rockets out.
And that's what I think would be something that
I think that's another possibility for sure too.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that specifically is going to be the gimmick, is like them switching between arms, because I think that's a bigger thing that
in that case, who do you think
push.
would be their pick if they only had one pick and they switched between their arms instead?
I think it's either going to be one of the more popular characters from the like Splatfest-esque events that they have, or like I said, I think legitimately, I think that they're going to do like a new character, whether it be a Arms 2 or it be like an Octo expansion level thing, where they're like, all right, we're introducing 8 more characters, and this is like effectively a sequel, like how Dragon Ball Fighters had season 3, and that was effectively a sequel in the minds of the people that actively play that game.
Gotcha.
I can see them doing something like that, because in the fighting game realm, I know like the going rationale for a lot of Nintendo fans is that Arms did terribly, but that game did really well.
No better than any Xenoblade Chronicles game has.
That's true. But like even removed from the fact that it was like launch window and stuff like that, because like you said, Xenoblade Chronicles, that game came out in the launch window and that didn't sell as much as Arms. It's, and on top of the fact that it's a fighting game, a genre that if you're not Smash Brothers, Tekken, or Street Fighters, you're not gonna do well. So I think that isn't lost on them. It would be crazy for them to like on one end drop a game like that sold that much and has that much cachet and is already really recognizable even amongst the people that don't play the game. If you see an Arms character, you know it's an Arms character. On top of the fact that they're putting a Smash Brothers fighter in there. Like they don't put characters in Smash Brothers unless they already have an established legacy or if they want them to have one.
Right. Yeah, I think an Arms 2 is coming at some point, whether it's this year or not. I
doubt it's going to be this year.
I
completely doubt.
But I could definitely see one happening because they've also had characters like Pokemon come out before their Pokemon games and that kind of stuff. So yeah, they could do that and be like, this is this new Arms character, and then people will play him in Smash and it's like, whoa, that's fun, and then play him in Arms 2 or something.
I'm just looking at the Arms characters now. It's not even like you can separate them into like, here's a set of heavy Arms characters, here's a set of light Arms characters. You've got like
there are characters like that. Look, there's Master Mummy, he's heavy. There's
that's what I'm saying. You couldn't do it. You could do it
by batches.
You couldn't do it like in a couple of ways that would work for Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Like where it just would not. It would be a separate gimmick onto itself if they were like every skin is a different character.
And that's for like what it's worth. That's what I was saying would be in what I'm saying would be the gimmick, is just that they're
Yeah,
different, but they're more basic as individual characters.
To continue on that, what I was saying is like that's the sort of gimmick that I could see Sakurai saying we wanted to do that, but that's effectively creating 4 different characters, and we don't have the bandwidth for that.
Yep, it's true. I mean, the only reason
like,
they have more the bandwidth for that.
If they just did like Master Mummy and Twin Tail or whatever, like just the differences in how a character that looks like Master Mummy would like move and like perform, and how much they will weigh and what their hurt box is and all that stuff compared to Twin Tail is the same thing of like saying, all right, we're working on developing Terry, and then it's like, okay, we're working on developing Ken, you know.
Yeah.
Interesting that they included like Evil Springman in the image as well. See, now I want to get Arms again, even though I've sold it twice.
I mean, it's free. It's free right now.
Oh yeah, but I want to own it. I guess I could play it again and then realize that.
I should. I've played I did the test punch once, I think, like at the way beginning. So I should check it out. And it's not going to be for me regardless, just because I don't play online games. So, and like there is single player stuff, but that's obviously not the main reason that you play it. So, you know that, but I mean, obviously a great game. Another great game moving along is Bravely Default 2, probably going to be good. And there's a demo out now. And that's one that I played. I played the demo a little bit.
This is a game that I skipped from the direct.
How long is the demo?
I haven't played it a lot. It's been busy. But I played it a little, probably like an hour's worth, so not a whole ton. The demo, they specify at the beginning, which I almost just skipped straight past, but I'm glad that I didn't, and I read it, that the story in the demo is not the story from the main game. I don't know if they replaced it or they're just picked apart somewhere kind of in the middle, so that it's not the introduction or anything. You're just starting out in some town halfway through some kind of mission or something. And they also said that the combat is starting out harder in the demo so that you can, and there's some of the jobs so that you can test out some of those. And for what it's worth, the demo from the 1 hour-ish or less that I've played it is fairly challenging. And like I went into a dungeon-y area that probably I'm supposed to have grinded a bunch to go into, because like I was doing max 200 points of damage, for example, and that was like with a critical hit and a great shot that normally misses or whatever. And meanwhile, one of the guys hit me for 940 HP and I only have 840 on that character.
Dodge, man. Just be better at the game.
That's true.
My goodness, you're so smart.
Is it just another? Sorry, I don't mean to say that. That was reductive. Is it a turn-based RPG?
It is a turn-based RPG, and it obviously like borrows. Well, I don't know about borrows because I haven't played the original Bravely Default games, but there's a lot of similarities to Octopath Traveler in some regards. In Octopath Traveler, every turn automatically, unless you used it, you got more boost points to be able to boost up moves and make them stronger. Whereas in this one, you have to choose to like go in defensive stance and default, exactly. Which
it's called Bravely Default.
That's why. And so I guess it seems like it raises your defense by 50%, I guess. I don't know, maybe. And then from there, once you save up the brave points, you can use them, and it doesn't make your attacks stronger, at least in what I've seen so far. It just makes you be able to do more actions within that turn, so you could have multiple attacks or whatever instead of just doing one way stronger attack, which like is useful. I kind of don't like it as much as being able to be like, this is my strong attack. But that's just me. I haven't figured out a whole lot of the nuances of it yet because it's just been a little bit, but it does seem challenging, and I might just have to start the demo over because like I don't know. I mean, it'll be fine. I got into a battle where I started figuring out some more things, so I'll have to report back next time. But it seems like if you liked Octopath Traveler, probably this one would be worth it. But play the demo because I'll have played it as well.
I didn't like Octopath Traveler, so I probably won't play the demo. I've got it downloaded, but I might uninstall it now. I didn't really. I was just like, oh yeah, I'll get involved in the conversation. Yeah. But I've tried so many times to be like, okay, I'm going to get into this turn-based RPG because everyone says it's really good. I've tried Final Fantasy VII, others. I'm not can't ask the list.
That's funny. I would have thought that you would have been someone that liked them fairly well, but
only
that's
Pokemon.
fine.
And the reason I like Pokemon is because of the nostalgia I hold for Pokemon and the collection aspect of Pokemon. I think other turn-based games, I just don't find them interesting. You know, I prefer action games or yeah, just not for me. Which is a shame because there's some games I'm just like, wow, I really want to play this game. Like this has everything. I've never played a Final Fantasy game. The only one I played more than a couple of hours. I've got 12 on Switch because it's not turn-based, so I'm probably going to get into that one and enjoy that one.
I'm similar, even though like there's turn-based games that I'll play, and it's usually like a world-based thing. It's like all these characters are endearing, and the world's cool, and it doesn't just feel like, oh, it's another JRPG. It's like the tree of life is dying, and we all need to band together and save it.
Wait, the tree of life is dying?
Yes.
Jay, why did you tell me sooner?
It's like I just spoiled 12, at least 12 JRPGs from the last 8 years, at least.
And ancient
and I love it.
Sapping the life from the life tree, and now you are the only chosen boy in the village who you don't know your parents, but also you've got amnesia. But this crystal you have on you, and everyone has crystals, and it contains a mana. That's all I know about JRPGs.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
And now
that's usually
the whole world saved because of a little boy.
Those are like the type of games where it's like I see that like sales pitch and I'm like, nope. It's kind of like when I was when me and Bob were playing Diablo and the Sunday streams for it, and I heard the like Lord of the Rings esque like old timey like like speech pattern. I was like, nope. That's kind of how it is with JRPGs.
The game starts and you're just punching squirrels for a laugh, and the game ends and you're slaying God.
Yeah.
that is how JRPGs go.
Yeah, I mean that's a weekend, that kind of a workout. It's like it's like One Punch Man, that whole thing. Yeah, I can't remember if you guys watched that or not. But
I saw like 65% of the first season.
So the whole bit is that he is super strong and he can punch. One punch kills him. But his like sidekick dude is, or maybe it's him or maybe it's somebody else, is like, what is the secret to how you get so strong? And it gets very serious, and I'm going to butcher it, but something to the effect of like, you have to do 1,000 push-ups a day and 1,000 sit-ups a day and run for 20 minutes and think very hard and do this for 3 years, and then you can punt, and then you will be as strong as me or whatever. And the dude's like, that's not, maybe he says 100 sit-ups and 100 push-ups. And it's like, that's just a regular workout for a lot of people. And it's just funny.
It's like Frieza in the stupid Dragon Ball Z Resurrection of F movie was like, oh, I'll just train for 6 months or whatever. And then he like exponentially increases his power like by the factor of like 1 million.
Man.
It's so dumb. Dragon Ball.
Well, I'll keep you guys posted on Bravely Default 2. That'll be one that I'll play it to at least find out if it's good or not.
Okay.
We'll see. But the next one is going to be good. Clubhouse Games, 51 games. This is going to be great, guys.
I'm mad about this game. I'm upset.
Because you want it right now?
I wanted it now. Like when they showed it, I was like, oh, snap, is this another out now game? And they're like, you can pre-order it now. It comes out June 5th. And I was like, dumb. That's dumbest decision. I was ready to riot right alongside the people being like, this direct not worth it just because of this.
I was tweeting about Xenoblade during this, so it kind of went over my head. What is this? Just a collection of games?
They have bootleg Uno, Max.
Ooh,
it's called Last Card.
It's called Last Card. Wow.
So it does. Yeah, it is.
Other
it's
languages.
Very funny.
It was what? Sorry.
It is funny though, because I watched the Direct on Nintendo UK because that was just the one that popped up on my YouTube on the TV. And there were a couple of games that are called something different there. And I was like, that's weird. Cause like that game I normally call, like, I don't know, main call is the same.
They're usually like trademark names. Like they call it Yahtzee something else.
Yeah. So like there's
Yahtzee.
Yeah, they called it Yahtzee dice instead of calling it just Yahtzee.
I don't even think it was Yahtzee. I think it was like Yah dice or something.
Oh, I mean, maybe so, yeah. Or maybe Yahtzee was spelled differently or something
I watched the
weird.
American Direct, so this is all going over my head.
But in any case, Yeah, it's 51 games. Most of them are like board game, card game kinds of things, like, solitaire, spider solitaire, checkers, Chinese checkers, blah, 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 blah. But then there's also looks like pretty much all the We Play games are in there, like Battle Tanks and like Pop the Balloons.
Battle Tanks. Oh boy!
Yeah.
Is it? I'm gonna get. Ooh.
Yeah, honestly, just watch the trailer again. It's
tough time when it gets to Battle Tanks.
and not all of them are online, but most of them seem to be online. And if you do online, you just pick. Yeah,
I don't even know if they said most of them.
It showed.
They said like a selection of them or whatever.
It said a selection, but when it showed the window of choosing them to play online,
okay.
There was like probably 40 or so. But then the local ones, if there's some that's like a card game or something like that where you shouldn't be able to see other people's hands, it sounds like some of the games other people can download the game for free, kind of like on 3DS. They can download it for free, and you play locally like that. Yep.
Bringing back the DS, boys.
Yeah. So honestly, it seems like just a super well curated version of all that kind of stuff. Oh, Othello. That was one I think that had a different. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It just looks to see if there's like a list of all the games.
I don't know. Maybe Clubhouse games.
Clubhouse games.
I almost typed that. Okay, here we go. Got it.
Is it Reversi and Othello?
Could be. Yeah, I think that's what it is. You ready for all of them? Here's all of them. Mancala, Hanafuda, Backgammon, Renegade, Checkers, President, Dominoes, Speed, Hare and Hounds, Blackjack, 4 in a row, Chess, Shogi, Mini Shogi, Ludo, Ricci Mahjong, Sevens, Golf, disappeared. Darts, Texas Hold'em, Nine Men's Morris, Air Hockey, War, Karum, whatever that is, Chinese Checkers, Yacht Dice, that's it, Yacht Dice.
That's what it is.
Takoyaki, Billiards, Hex, Spider Solitaire, Gomuoku, Matching, Bowling, Shooting Gallery, Slot Cars, Dots and Boxes, Hit and Blow, Pig's Tail, Mahjong Solitaire, Last Card, which is Uno, Fishing, Klondike Solitaire, Toy Tennis, Toy Soccer, Toy Curling, Toy Boxing, Toy Basketball, Battle Tanks, Team Tanks, Sliding Puzzle, and 6-Ball Puzzle. Like, I mean, it feels like one of those just have it on your Switch for whenever,
Right.
Like if Jackbox isn't the vibe,
it's the party game, because it's like a lot of the games on here are available on Switch individually.
Yes,
like this game is like $40 or something like that. Uno by itself is $10.
Yeah. It's just as long as they're not like super it's Nintendo published and maybe Nintendo developed, I don't know. As long as it's not super clunky for any of them, which I don't think it will be from the looks of it, because the UI looks a lot like Labo VR or like the Labo UI, which looked good. So I'm down. I'm very excited about it.
I'm so down, but I'm upset.
$39.99.
What about $39.99?
Amazon has it up pre-order for $39.99 US dollars.
Yep.
Ooh,
it's called something else in the UK, I think, too. It wasn't called Clubhouse Games, I think. It was.
I remember it's something else.
It was called Worldwide. Oh no, that's just.
That was the DS one, wasn't it? Worldwide Games.
I think the DS one's also.
Oh, it's called Clubhouse Games, and I didn't know that it was a DS series beforehand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Okay, well, there you go. It's going to be great. Moving along. Ninjala. Yep, it finally happened, AJ.
I'm so ready, dude.
AJ's been talking about this game since I remember it was in the 2018 is going to be the best Switch year ever. It was in that video.
Because it was in the E3.
I think it was in the 2017 E3 Direct, right?
Yeah.
The one with Smash Brothers. The one that everybody said was a bad Direct because it was 90% Smash Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like a highlight reel game. Like it wasn't even a game that they really dived into.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just have no idea. I had no idea what this game was until this Direct. I don't know if anyone did or if they'd ever actually spoken about it.
I think DJ
they had demos.
DJ from LootPots said he played the demo, I think.
Oh.
At E3.
Yeah, it's playable.
Oh.
It's Melee Splatoon.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we'd seen bits and pieces for sure, and people would play demos. But yeah, we didn't know it was free to play, as far as I know. That's a new thing. Mm-hmm. And all that. Also, this one's going to be one that I think is going to be helpful maybe for Nintendo Online. The last one was one that I was honestly curious, Clubhouse Games, if that was going to be a free with Nintendo Online thing, but obviously it wasn't. So there you go.
It definitely is wearing its Splatoon influence very obviously. Very opaque.
And I thought when they initially, I mean, I was excited for it when they initially announced it, but I was still kind of like, I don't know, because it feels like they're kind of banking on that. But the fact that they delayed it for a year, I was like, okay, yeah, they care about this game. It's not just
right. Yep, it's true. So there you go. There's that. Next to Jedi Academy is out now. Cool. And Star Wars Episode 1 Racers coming soon. Look at that. Cool times.
This was the Will segment.
This is what we
cared about.
Is that pod racing?
Yes. It is.
Oh, sick. Yeah,
but it's apparently the PS1 version instead of the N64 Dreamcast version.
That's why I was confused. Right.
Yeah. But same thing, that game, which people are going to be happy about. So, and then Panzer Dragoon Remake is out now. I
saw something about Game Explain say it was bad or something.
Yeah. It sounds like, so I watched a little bit of that video. It was John, who apparently is like super big fan of the originals. And to be honest, the things that he was criticizing it for seemed like maybe kind of nitpicks from somebody who's a super fan of the original, where it's like they did this differently and they did this differently, but they're not necessarily worse things. They're just different things. But
so it would be like the thing of like we were talking about like F-Zero or whatever. Where it's
could be. But also, I don't know because I didn't play it. And I saw also some other YouTube videos saying that it's just barely over an hour long. Like that feels real short.
Sounds
for $25.
Yeah, sounds like one of those games. That's why Star Fox can't be $60 in 2020.
Yeah, exactly. So, Nintendo Life gave it a 6 out of 10. Looks like so. That's not great, but hey, whatever. It's $25, so like it's not horrible.
It's one of those games that I had on PC back in the day that I played for a bit and was like, guess I don't like PC games. Guess I don't like playing games on PC then. Here we go. It was that and Neverwinter Nights. But anyway, both are on Switch now. But yeah, this just doesn't do, even as a Star Wars fan, doesn't do anything for me. So,
yeah.
The thoughts on Leaf
talking about Panzer Dragoon or Pod Racer?
Wait, where did we go?
We were talking about Panzer Dragoon.
Did we stop talking about Star Wars?
Yeah, we talked about Panzer Dragoon, you silly.
I just lose like a whole few minutes of my life.
Yep.
Yes.
Gone.
Weird.
What did you just delete? I completely.
Oh, I moved Trials of Mana into the sizzle reel because it was, and we talked about it last week. So
I feel like I just had like an aneurysm or something. Where's that time just gone? Sorry, yeah, Panzer Dragoon looks crap.
Yeah, I don't know. I knew it wasn't for me in the first place, but it was like, oh, that's cool that game's coming out. But if it's not doing it for the fans, then that kind of sucks, because it's more intended as probably a love letter to the fans and introducing people to the series.
Like said, the fans didn't like it either. So
yeah, so that kind of sucks. Then there was a sizzle reel with a whole bunch of stuff. Nothing we really need to go into. We already talked about.
What are you talking about? Fuser's the biggest deal. Didn't you see your PAX booth, dude?
It was, people were saying like, wow, this game's awesome. This is great for a party game or whatever. And it was like, seemed like cool or whatever, but also
that booth was way too big.
It truly was. I mean, they really only had that big of a booth because that would have been PlayStation's spot. Mm-hmm. So probably was like a huge discount of like, just fill somewhere and be hype.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, there was that. Sizzle reel, Trials of Mana, Fuser, Elder Scrolls Blades, Warhammer 40,000, Vigor, Burnout Paradise, stands for 4, Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 3, Mr. Driller Drill Land, and Minecraft Dungeons.
Mr. Driller Drill Land was interesting because that's never been out in the UK before. Europe before. You might have never even gone to the US either. I think it was one of those Japanese only releases from like a franchise that probably I only know through Smash Brothers because of trophies and stuff like that. I'm interested in checking it out. It just looks like a puzzle game, I guess. There's a lot of these games I think they're bringing from like older consoles, and they're like, look, now we're putting it on new consoles, so it's good again. Probably similar to Panzer Dragoon. Like, this is on phones and it's better. There are games like this on phones that are better. And I wonder if this is the same where like people go, oh yeah, but it's a classic, and you're like, yeah, but it's been outclassed by similar games on mobiles for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, that's a tricky thing for sure. I mean, that's kind of like people were saying with Brain Age, where it's like Brain Age is still high quality Brain Age, but there's just more practical versions of the same thing already out. maybe even for free, you know. So
yeah,
that's
this is just not how games should be played.
true.
You have to play games like this. What's this?
You're so right, Max. He was holding up a Switch vertically, everybody. Just
Oh
for the
yeah,
audio
sorry.
listeners. Vertically, I tell unto you. And last thing, we ended off with Pokemon Sword and Shield details on the new DLC.
Yeah, they just said what we already know. They just repackaged what you already know, didn't they? Really?
I mean, there were a couple of
We
new.
didn't know details about how specifically we're gonna evolve Kubfu.
The only thing with that is that
we
almost feels maybe like, I mean, not spoilery, but like within that kind of realm where it's like, that's not, to me, that doesn't feel like the kind of thing we need to know ahead of time. And that almost feels like the kind of thing some people might not have wanted
usually
to.
the sort of thing that they do announce in
That, I mean, you're not wrong.
is the thing. It's kind of weird for Sword and Shield specifically because they kind of veered away from that with like not even announcing the starter evolutions before they came.
Right, yeah.
But this is very much so like by the numbers Pokemon stuff of them being like, remember that thing we were talking about? Here's more details on that thing.
Yeah.
Here's the Battle Frontier brains or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It seemed unnecessary. It seemed a bit of a disappointing thing to end on. I'm glad we saw it because we actually got to see like more of people running around in the world and stuff and interacting with things. But it just looks like more Pokemon, I guess. And with this new Kubfu stuff, my worry is that once you do the tower, your chosen tower, and you do the Kubfu stuff, and you get your Urshifu, that's it. And then they're like, cool, time to catch more Pokemon, which I guess is the point of Pokemon. But it'd be nice if there were other things to do, you know. We'll see.
It seems like there's more things to do just because there's that, and then there's also the whole thing with like the other person that, depending on what version of the game you have, that's also like training
your mentor or whatever.
Yeah.
Probably your rival, I'd imagine.
Yeah, like Mustard is your mentor, I guess.
That's so silly.
And then freaking, what, Avery or whatever is the shield.
There's the psychic with the tie-dye.
Yeah, that, and then like they're the other person. So I'd imagine there's more to it than that. And then there's also like the trainer specific like items and stuff like that you get. So it's like this, we already know that this is going to have more. This is just detailing one specific aspect of it that they were like, this is in the game. Here's specifically what you do in it.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's cool that they've added new, obviously we knew they were going to add new cosmetic stuff. But it's nice that they're adding sort of some things that are from other characters. But I do, after having played Animal Crossing, wish that they had put more time or more options into the clothing. Because Animal Crossing just seems to go on forever with customization. Whereas Pokemon, I sort of was like, oh, this is it. I can't do any more than this. Those are my options. Oh, well. So hopefully that kind of thing is improved as well in this DLC.
Which would be nice. Yeah. I think, I mean, I said it at the top, but just that this didn't seem to me like, I think it was what they were able to end with. I think it wasn't an ideal way to end it. And
I think that they less so weighed this by the content and more so by the name recognition and stuff like that. They're like, Pokemon Sword and Shield is a bigger deal than any other game that we have in here. So that's what we're going to end it with. And like Xenoblade is like,
oh yeah, I mean, I think it's better than ending with any of the other, like if they put the Smash Bros. Arms reveal at the end, that would have been not good. You know, like I don't think there was anything else in this direct that would have been better to end it with, including the Xenoblade Chronicles stuff, because that was a better one to have more details about and, you know, be what it was, and open it up. So I guess, you know, and it's hard because like if they'd ended with Super Mario 3D World ports, I think that would have been underwhelming as well for a lot of people. It's like, oh, that's another Wii U port and that kind of thing. So it's hard if they, especially if a lot of their first party new games are going to have to be pushed out from this year because of everything that's going on, then, you know, they probably want to.
I just think, given what their strategy seems to be, where like if you look at everything in this direct, pretty much everything is the next 2 months from now. It seems like they're moving 2 months at a time. They're like, all right, here's 2 months from now. All right, we'll see you in 2 months. All right, here's 2 months from now. We'll see you in 2 months, you know? And given that, I think we got a good amount of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially for this time of the year specifically. Like usually, like traditionally, just in games in general, we wouldn't get any games around this time. So it's just being informed by like previous years where our Q1 is really delayed Q4. And there haven't really been that many delays from Nintendo outside of Animal Crossing. So we don't really have that like Christmas in July sort of situation.
Yeah. That said, I'm glad Animal Crossing got delayed because, like, if this had been, timing. Man, like last holiday was already packed enough.
Right.
So if it had come out then, I mean, people would still be playing it a lot probably right now, but it's nice to have
not as many people would have been like hyped for it and been like,
exactly.
It wouldn't have been a meme of like how perfect the timing is, and then you know.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, you asked the question in your video: was it worth the wait? And people commented on that and other things. So let's read some things. Michael Santorini. Hello, Michael. Said, not for me personally. Quickest way to break down why is that I love Nintendo franchises, and there wasn't a single part of this direct that my dad's generation would even recognize as Nintendo, except maybe Pokemon at the end. Also, no Pikmin. LOL.
This specific criticism confuses me just because we don't get that many big Nintendo franchise announcements ever. Like, the most we'll get is like the big three, where it's like either it's a Pokemon game, a Mario game, or a Zelda game. And then occasionally we'll get like, oh, Donkey Kong. Okay. But like we usually do not get big new Nintendo games to the point where that's even a recurring topic of like, it's been a long time since we got a Nintendo franchise, like a brand new IP, and then the goalpost continuously moves there. Where it's like, has it been a while? We got ARMS. Oh, no, that doesn't count because it's not a one that I'm excited about. It's just like you can never pin that.
There is an interesting
criticism down.
People that obviously don't like Nintendo for whatever reason. There is an interesting thing where they'll say things like, all Nintendo has is Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Smash Bros, blah blah. And then when they release a bunch of games that aren't that, they're like, well,
but it's not those.
Those aren't real. Yeah, those aren't Zelda, Mario, blah blah.
Exactly. But I feel like that's on both sides of the aisle. Nintendo fans do the same thing, where it's we haven't gotten a new IP in forever. All we have is those tentpole games. Even Animal Crossing, I've been saying literally for the past 2 years now that Animal Crossing is like one of the biggest deal games that they have currently, and everybody just was like, oh, I don't know about that. And then we have a pandemic, and then people are like, oh yeah, no, this game's a huge deal, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it broke all the sales records and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I can see all that as well. What Michael's saying, and like part of that is just the fact that most of these were updates. So it's if none of the games already were ones that you were excited about, then that also makes it harder to get excited about it because we already knew about most of these games. So I think the my dad's generation part like that, because if there was a completely new IP in this case, your dad's generation still wouldn't know about that, but you'd probably be really excited about it at the same time. So like I don't know that's just the benchmark, but I mean I get what that
if it was like your dad's generation, then that pretty much boils it down to like even less than the big three. It's like, at that point it's just like, is it a Mario game, is it a Zelda game? Because then we can expand it out and be like, oh, but Metroid.
I mean, I guess it depends also.
Metroid's coming, but it's not going to be done anytime soon.
Right. So, but also no Pikmin. It's true. Yeah, I think
your dad ain't never played Pikmin before.
I think the whole this being a mini thing, like my expectation, as soon as I saw it was a mini, my expectations were I'll take what I can get kind of a thing.
I think given the time period, regardless, that's what it was for me.
Yeah.
A freaking Nintendo Direct during a pandemic where they were going to put this disclaimer for even if they had every single, like if this was a major Direct and it was 55 minutes and they put that disclaimer of like stuff may or may not be released on time, which I feel like is what a lot of people, those are the announcements people seem to be looking for, is like the nebulous 2020 release date, the Sony announcements of like, you might be playing this game this year, I don't know. And they very intentionally were like, nah, these are all games that we plan to give you by the end of this quarter. Yeah. And I just think that's a smarter way to go about doing it.
Yep.
Especially now. I think just generally, it's probably smarter to do that also, where it's like, all right, 2 months in advance.
Right.
Here are the games that you're going to get. But because it's like the culture to hype culture, you know, be hyped for a game for 18 months at a time.
Yep.
That's really the only reason why they have any reason to announce games that far out.
Yep.
It's also interesting that people are now going, oh, you were expecting something bigger than that? Why were you should have been expecting blah, blah, blah. The E3 Direct's the big one, but there is no E3. We're not even sure there's going to be a Direct during that time because we don't know where we're going to be in 3 months' time.
I think that's even more so the reason why we might get, like them drip feed and stuff, where we might like next Direct again, maybe two months from now. And it has 1 or 2 big things that were going to be the E3 of like, here's stuff from a year from now. Yeah. But they're like, well, we don't have to do that. So we can drip feed out announcements more consistently, but further out,
Yeah. The only thing to me that points that they'd probably still do an E3 time Direct.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to do it during that time. I just think it's going to be
because they kind of have been probably planning to for a while now. That stuff's been planned out for forever. But then also
just like this, honestly.
Yeah. But then also like the fact that the ARMS character they mentioned they're going to announce that in June and stuff. So like June still, but if they don't, it also depends how the pandemic type stuff keeps going at that point. It could, if it's getting worse, then
there's definitely a pandemic happening right now.
Yeah. Comment though from Seven says, hello Seven. I'm really excited that people who only have a Switch get to play BioShock. Everyone should experience that series in their life, even BioShock 2. No matter what the haters say, in my opinion, it has the better little sister design, and its collectivist theme perfectly complements the first game's objectivism. Sure. Yeah. Infinite is a modern classic as well. Can't wait to see newcomers' heads explode with that plot. LOL. And Elizabeth is one of the most fleshed out and well-written female video game characters of all time. For myself, I'm most excited to play Catherine Full Body. I've been wanting to play it for ages, but always secretly
play it for me.
but always secretly hoped it would come to Switch. Now we just need Persona 5 to be ported over, and any news about Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Yeah. Yes, that's how I feel about ports generally. Man, even if I've played this game before and I don't really want to play it again, it's cool that more people get to play it, because I know that when there is a port that I'm excited for, I could have got the original console and played it like that, but I don't want to do that. So that's why I'm usually like down for ports.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep. And it's funny because I was talking to Mitch, and because he watched it as well, and he was saying like, it kind of just like, I don't know how I feel about seeing ports getting announced as if they were new games or whatever, like that kind of thing. Because he's a multi-plat owner and like does play his PlayStation as much, maybe. He plays Monster Hunter Monster Hunter World, more. So definitely more than his Switch. But he plays the Switch a lot as well. But like he played those games when they came out and stuff, and so for him, he's like, I don't really care. But which is interesting for me to see that side, because I was like, but I think there are a lot of people who really care about those franchises and didn't just play them because they were the big thing at the time, but like they just love BioShock and are excited to play that handheld, and also that care.
It's just like think
and people who like only have a Switch, and that's like now they get to play it.
The inverse, right? Imagine if freaking Mario 3D World or whatever was coming to PlayStation 4 and they didn't make a big deal of that.
Right.
In what universe would they not make a big deal of that? For Nintendo fans, it's like, whatever. I played that game forever ago, because they even do that with Nintendo ports on Nintendo platforms. But I think it's a significantly bigger deal when it is this like groundbreaking thing for this ecosystem. Nintendo platforms have never had a BioShock game before. These are franchises that when they were announced, like games like this was like within the same time frame, BioShock Infinite specifically, when the Wii U was beginning to be in the conversation, and people were like, it's an HD console, it's technically more powerful than the consoles that are out right now. Is this going to be on there? And people were basically laughed off, But now it's on Switch alongside the rest of the games in the franchise. So I think that like it's just weird to like kind of scoff at it as if it's not like a big deal when before it was like
Yeah.
unthinkable.
I mean, I
And these
think
are
too,
collections
it's, yeah.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
these are collections that are also have also been put onto Xbox One and PS4
Mhm.
a few years ago as well.
Right.
And
But they never been on Nintendo platforms.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but for people to say, oh, it's fine when they come to PS4 because I played them on PS3 and I own a PS4.
Mm-hmm.
For it to come to Switch, it's like, why is it coming to? What's the point of it coming
Yeah,
to
it's
Switch?
just
Play the
old
game.
game is old.
I think it's also like the way that different people watch different, I mean, direct specifically in this context is, plays into it, I guess, too, where like, I know for me, when I watch a direct, I'm, especially because of the content creator thing, but even prior to that, as just a Switch fan, as part of this kind of world of Switch fans or whatever, I watch directs on behalf of the Switch community at large, and like would love to get to have things that I'm specifically super excited about. But even if like there's been a couple directs before where I'm like, yeah, none of that really hit me, but like, wow, they had that one thing. And I know people were really excited about, like, but I didn't care about Animal Crossing at the time. And now, but like when that announcement happened, I was like, man, people are going ballistic right now.
Yeah.
But then I think there's a number of people that when they watch directs, it's like, okay, well, what's the thing for me? And that's fine, but like you have to be aware that not every announcement is going to be specifically
and
for you,
and that's entirely how I watch directs all the time, regardless of what the direct is. Where first and foremost it's about like who is this targeting and who will it matter to. I don't think that the same person that never played BioShock Infinite or freaking Borderlands 2 is on the internet commenting on YouTube videos about the Switch Direct, right? Like, there are people that maybe have never watched a Nintendo Direct. Literally, my aunt, who is my age, she doesn't watch Nintendo Directs. So like, it's the people that they're getting this secondhand, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this game's coming out to Switch." They're like, "What? That's coming out to Switch? That's on a Nintendo?" Those are the people that
on a Nintendo.
Exactly.
There are a lot of people that are like, "That game's on Switch," and it's like, "Yeah, that game's on Switch." Like, it just is.
Right.
It's true. And on that, Morgan says, I love ports. It's fun to have games I love in a portable version, and they get people excited, which in turn gets devs interested in developing other new games for us. I'm also weirdly excited about the Bunny Animal Crossing New Horizons update. Haha. It looks cute and silly, and it'll fit right in.
That's another end of it that I didn't even touch on. Is like, even as somebody that's owned a game, like if whatever there's a game, like if I could play Spider-Man portably, the PlayStation 4 Spider-Man, I would play that again, 1000%. So it's even beyond the thing of like people that never played it. If you really love a game and you've never been able to play it portably, or you're like me and Bob with Metal Gear Solid 5, where it's like, I want to finish that game, but I don't want to like sit down.
If they put Lord of the Rings Return of the King from the GameCube on the Switch, I'd be playing that a lot.
Same. No,
it was great.
I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, it was a GameCube. It was EA is the thing. They did Two Towers and Return of the King are like pretty similar in terms of like how they play.
But it's movie. We talked about that.
It's true, but they're like really good. It's really good couch co-op for one thing, or I mean single player too. It does, and it's a lot of fun.
But then again, I didn't know the games existed, so of course I didn't know.
That's true. So, yep, it's a grand old time. It's like a hack and slash.
What, like not hack and slash, like an Assassin's Creed sort of thing.
No, it's more like level based.
Than that.
It's I don't know how to. So it's like you choose a level and then you.
It's like what it's similar to the Shrek 2 game.
Sure, why not?
You ever played Shrek 2?
No, never.
The Shrek 2 game was freaking lit.
It's just a good old time. It'll something. Next comment, Jordan Farah. Let me know how to.
Jonathan.
Your comments. Jonathan. What did I say? Jordan.
Yeah,
I think I mixed his name and Morgan, which was right above it. I'm sorry about that, Jonathan. I'm a horrible. Jorgen Florgan said, wish Nintendo revealed more, like maybe some more Wii U/Wii/3DS ports, details on Bayonetta 3 and Metroid Prime 4, maybe 2 to 3 new Switch first-party games, big or small, for later 2020. Tell us what all of their subsidiaries and partners are working on, and tell us whether games like Mario Maker 2, Cadence of Hyrule, Stretchers, and Team Kirby Clash will get DLC. Anyway, the Direct was good, and what stuck out to me was Good Job, which looks like it will play like Stretchers. Panzer Dragoon Remake, Ultimate Alliance 3, and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 and Pokemon expansions are interesting. Jedi Academy and 3 2K games coming out on the same day as Xenoblade Definitive Edition.
Yeah. So the first this is like
interesting comment.
This is like a comment, and then he replied to the comment, and it's very clear where he replied to the comment. But it was
it was actually to.
Yeah, okay. So it was like him being like, I wish this had more of this, but this is what I like out of what was in it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the thing that, like, the first part of the comment read to me where he's like, man, I wish this was E3. And then the rest of it was like, but like what was here is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, because those are like the dream things, I feel like. I mean, those are like, that's the 4chan leak direct to me, is how that reads. Probably it would have even more stuff than that, like 5 new Switch first party games, but still, like, I think that kind of thing is
it's covering all the bases, really, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. Whereas like I could have expected or thought that they might have done 1 or 2, especially it being a mini, like one of those things, and they didn't necessarily do any of those things. They did other things instead. But yeah, I thought it was good. So it was just funny because it was like, here's what I wish, very high, but it was still okay. So like, good job having wishes and hype be on different levels, or wishes and expectations rather.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that is a, like you say, AJ, it's like a, you're reading it, you're like, oh, and then you go, oh, okay, no, it's fine, because you did then say, yeah, this is all cool. Like, okay, fine.
So there you go. That's, man, we've spent all this time on the direct, but / because your video as well.
Leave it now. I don't want to deal with it anymore.
Let's talk about other things we've never talked about, like Animal Crossing. So yeah, it was a fun time. I'm glad it finally happened. It was good that they addressed the stuff at the way beginning with the pandemic and all that. So hopefully that'll, be, I don't know where that sentence was going. Now some comments on the video that I made, which gives us an opportunity to talk about Animal Crossing, which we like. First comment.
Bad game.
Just a dumb old game. No one even likes it. No one's been playing several hours a day at all. Troy KLK says, glad you love the game. As a person with an autoimmune disorder, I'm having a lot of anxiety from what's going on in the world. This game has been such a helpful tool to help me relax and forget for a while.
I think
these are my favorite comments.
Yep.
I like these comments.
This is
like, this game or this thing specifically helped me, and that is like not how I usually think about games. Yep. So it's like a good thing to see that.
Honestly, yeah. So this is like
really meaningful thing.
Been because so Ashley's not working right now, and she's got pretty bad anxiety most of the time. And it's been something that, like, just observing, I've been able to tell that has been helpful, because it means that she's not on social media where, like, the world in terms of social media seems like it's so small, where like somebody is, affected in California, and it feels like that's like my friend's friend, like, is how close it feels, even though it's like, it's not, it's
right.
We're not hearing the whole picture and stuff.
And it all bubbles to the top. You're hearing the worst case scenario all the time.
Exactly. And so, I mean, like, I saw some stat that was like, if you watch the news, you think the world is 100 times more dangerous than it actually is, or something like that.
I think I've talked about this in the past, where it's like my mom, she watches the news a lot.
Yeah.
So like every time I'm like, let's go to like California or do something like that. And she's like, no, they got earthquakes and stuff. We'll be an earthquake and we'll die. And I'm like, there's millions of people that live every day.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that said, I mean, even more so for you, Troy, like, having an autoimmune disorder, like, that makes it even more scary, because it feels more, real and just stuff. Yeah. So having a good distraction, like, there's a difference also, I think, between like escapism in the bad way, where it's like,
it's like, I'm going to ignore my problems.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Where, like, I'm going to play World of Warcraft for 14 hours a day.
Exactly.
And, like,
instead
not
of going
pay
to
bills.
Work. Yeah, exactly.
Which that was like, at one point I posted that, like, maybe I'll play RuneScape on stream at some point. Like, that could be a fun stream game. And somebody, I think it was Brandon, responded to it and was like, ew, don't do that. And I was like, huh, weird reaction. And he was like, well, I guess it's actually not that bad. I just remember that one of my friends just pretty much quit his life because he was like so obsessed with RuneScape, like didn't pay bills, like his girlfriend dumped him, all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That feels really not good. So reasonable reaction considering that. So, but on the other side, distraction is like,
right. This is more so like a reaction to like not being able to do those things.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, well, I can't do the thing. So like, I might as well occupy myself with something. And it's like Animal Crossing is like a good game for that because it makes you feel like you're accomplishing something when you're really not. And usually that's a bad thing, but now it's a good thing because you get the accomplishment where when you can't.
I did yard work yesterday because A, I had to, but then B, like, I mean, in Animal Crossing, it's so easy. Might as well do it in real life. Something like that.
Sure.
I did. So, there was a dramatic uptick over the weekend of me playing Animal Crossing and then me looking at our room going, this could be more organized. This definitely.
The feeling, too, of like,
I'll be in your room?
Yeah.
I'll be like in my kitchen and be like, we could get rid of that one and bring back in this old thing that we have, like replacing the furniture, you know. But I don't have gobs of furniture to replace stuff with.
You don't have enough bells.
No.
You gotta get Nook Miles.
Go
pick the weeds in Max's room.
Yep.
And then sell them to Timmy and Tommy.
It's true.
And
so yeah, good comment. That was good to hear, Troy. Thank you.
I like the comments like that.
Andre Rosas, sorry if I said your name wrong, but here we go. I commented about the music and said, I don't know if it changes, blah, blah, blah. AJ, you mentioned that it did also, but this comment also said it did. The music changes later. I thought the same, but once you unlock the upgrade for the island service tent, hourly music will be unlocked. There's a video of how to unlock all the necessary for hourly music. It's by Unpunk. After that, it's just pure, beautiful music every hour. Hope you enjoy it after you get the music. I'm waiting to unlock it too.
It's so good. Yeah. I unlocked it this morning. I've only played like 4 hours today. But there's a point
I only played it like 4 hours.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I've got a lot to do, you know.
No, I mean, I feel it's just funny thinking about only in terms of 4 hours and like, no, I get it.
Yeah.
that's real.
It was raining early. I think I was just about to sit down. I just finished work. I sat down, turned on the game, and I was like, right, it's the weekend. And then it was raining in my village, and I was like, I'll go and do a little bit of fishing. And I'm sitting there fishing, and there's nice music playing, and there's like the sound of rain. And I was like, this is nice. It's nice that it's not the same song, and that there's now a change, and it sort of matches the mood of the rain. And then in a bit, in an hour's time, it's going to go ding dong, and it's going to change. And it's nice.
You got to bring a stereo. That's what you do, Parker. Bring a stereo.
It is fun. Ashley registered, like the second song she got and registered to her stereo is, I think KK Groove, I think is what it's called.
I don't have that one. I have so many songs, and everybody that I've seen have their stereo has completely different songs.
Yeah, I just bought KK Metal, and I'll have it tomorrow. And like y'all know me,
is it in your shop now?
It's in my shop now, so I'll have it tomorrow to be able to
send it to me.
Oh yeah, how can I? Oh yeah, just buy it and do gifts.
Send
I will do said thing.
But you had to like. Did you guys already like?
Oh no, we haven't been friends.
We'll do that.
So.
We'll do that immediately. Because
I need to see Parker's Islands.
Can I register?
Why didn't you use any game footage? I was so upset.
Because I'm doing a terrible job. Like, I just don't record my footage as I'm playing, especially with this one because I'm playing downstairs with Ashley.
Yeah, but so you have the replay button.
Did I just freeze?
Yeah, but because I can get it off the SD card. You did.
Yes.
I forgot about the SD card.
It was just a jumping conversation.
We were just talking about how he didn't put footage in his video, and I was upset.
I see.
Yep, I did not use any of my own footage. Yeah, I forgot about the SD card thing. I should do that.
That's literally my whole. I have hours of footage, and I didn't even realize it because I was just like, "Oh, that's a new thing that I didn't do yet. I should record that. Oh, I did that better than I did it last time. I should record that. Oh,
okay,
this would probably be an interesting thing to mention."
Most of the time, when you use your own footage, is that how you do it?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
sometimes
okay,
sometimes I'll pull it from like streams or
because I don't want to go and like now I'm going to play while recording or whatever,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah, I
a
hate
big
doing
pain.
that. Because I feel
But-
really like I'm being watched when I'm doing it, and I have to must do everything. It must look professional, and then
yeah, I just use
wait
the
enough
replay.
time to click
Yep.
through next and next. So yeah.
Granted,
That's-
like it's lower res, it's like 720p or whatever, but who cares?
Who
Nobody.
cares?
I've literally never seen a comment being like, "This gameplay." Now we're going to get comments like that.
I have gotten comments before my videos were 1080p when they were 720p. Someone was like, a 720p video in 2019, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, but that's different.
Yeah.
That's people seeing the number and then like they're like, "Oh, this is worse because I see that it's worse."
Yeah.
But looking at it, they're not like, "Oh, this looks like it's 720p, 30
Right.
frames per second," you know?
Because honestly, like, I mean, it looks almost exactly the same in 1080p and still doesn't look great. Like my camera is still not awesome. So probably they'd be like,
and then also
YouTube
it says compresses
1080.
it, and then
Yeah,
it's like everything on YouTube pretty much looks like garbage unless it's freaking 8K.
Yep. So all that stuff, fun comments. Looking forward to the music. That should be tomorrow. I'm pretty sure. Maybe in 2 days.
No, if you ordered it today, it'll be
well, that music, but the
you mean
the town center thing.
Did you already do all the requirements for it?
I did all the requirements. He said
tomorrow
I'll be closed tomorrow.
Tomorrow will be like
so I can't do anything tomorrow as far as like going to the Nook's shop.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Go and buy all of your Nook Miles tickets now.
It's going to be a like the museum, like you know how people are like freaking stacking stuff outside the museum.
Yep.
It's kind of like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll
bury your money outside.
Yeah,
but also have me around your house before you do that, so I don't steal it, and then you can send me.
And are Timmy and Tommy? They're not like outside to where I can sell anything to them, right? They're just
in the shop.
Closed for a day.
He doesn't have a shop. Do you have Nook's Cranny?
Yeah.
Okay, then they're in Nook's Cranny.
Oh, they're so okay. I thought they closed down too for some reason.
No, just the resident.
Oh, it's just the okay. So I can just go into.
So you literally just can't do like Nook's kiosk stuff. Like you can't do that.
Yeah.
But
that's not a big deal.
You also
and then even like because it maxes your streak out.
Oh, that's wait. You said you lose your streak from it?
No, it maxes your.
Oh, you don't.
Out.
Okay.
Regardless of if you say you didn't play yesterday.
Which
you still
I did.
Upgraded the thing.
My streak is 7+ because
but
I'm a respectable human.
I'm just being theoretical.
I know.
Parker, say you missed a day, it will
imagine pairs, and then
it'll immediately max it out to 7 days again.
It'll Parker it out to 7 days. Got it. Next comment. Chris Garrett said, "I have never played it and really wanted to try it, but didn't think I would enjoy the game at all. Mostly was afraid of it being a waste of $60. Luckily, my girlfriend told me to buy it because she agreed she would try it out if I did. She only plays Mario games and very casually Smash.
That's wild.
Yeah. We are addicted to this game now more than any other game ever. We play local co-op and take turns being the leader depending on who has been the leader longer or if there's a certain fish one of us needs or bug. It works out decently for the most part. My only real complaint about the local co-op is that when one of us isn't leader, we can't reach our Nook Miles goals, which is a bit frustrating because making us both want to be leader to be able to complete these. Otherwise, we just work together to gather items, and whoever is the leader at the time will just build what we need and builds 2 of them so the other person can have one. Anyway, we got this game as a couple days late, starting playing it yesterday, Sunday, and we probably have put 20 hours or so into it by now, Monday night. This game is fantastic.
I can tell that this is a couple that love each other a lot because they're having fun in the local co-op on Animal Crossing. I didn't think was possible until now.
I mean, it sounds like I mentioned this on.
Depends on how invested you are. Also,
well, yeah, I mean, how invested
doesn't really care to be like, I want the town to be like this. You know, they're just along for the ride. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it's like so. Mitch got it, and then Catherine's also playing it. His girlfriend, and they're playing local co-op as well. And I was talking about this on the Wolf Den Live the other day, but he'll like specifically save things and be like, I'm not going to do this. Like, so I think if you have that kind of mentality where both of you are like, yeah, we're getting to enjoy this together, it's a fun activity, then it works out great. If it's like, I want to play Animal Crossing and the other person's like, I also want to play Animal Crossing, but it's both on the same Switch, that could be challenging. Like parents and kids, I think can be a challenging time because like you want to do all this stuff and your kids want to do all this stuff. So like, that's kind of lame, but I'm glad to hear this stuff. Interesting hearing the specific minutia of like Nook Miles and goals, that kind of a thing. Because
the breakdown that I usually see and like the type of people that are like that when they're like more or less hardcore gamers, where they're like, I want to complete this thing and I want to play this game. They usually get them their own Switch anyway. It's like, I don't want you on my save in literally any game, even if the local co-op is good. I want my own save.
Yep. I did see a comment like that on this video. I mean, not quite like that, but a comment that was like, I think my wife would like this a lot. I might just get her a Switch and get it for her. Yeah. And I commented and I was like, if there were any game that you think your wife would like and she doesn't like other games, probably this would be the one.
We had this conversation with Alyssa. It was the 3 games that like, because there's the whole Babes meme. Are you in on this meme, Max?
The one with Bob.
With Bob's roommate.
His roommate. Yeah.
So the whole thing, it started because Bob, they were like, he wanted to get a display TV. He wanted a TV just to look like it's a living room, but he didn't really care about actually having a TV because he's going to watch TV or whatever and do all his crap on his monitors in his room. Sam, his roommate, was like, no, I want to get like a TV for the babes, man. Like, babes like TV. And then that extrapolated into like babes like Mario Kart and all that. Specifically calling women babes is the meme. And I was talking to Alyssa, and just generally, but Alyssa was there. She was like co-signing it. Or if I was wrong, she was going to condemn me and judge me. But coincidentally, I wasn't. I was like, babes love the 3 main games. This is like the easiest ones to sell them on is freaking Sims, Animal Crossing, and Harvest Moon, or something along like Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley. One of those. Those are like mutually exclusive. And that it just always is a thing. Like if you're trying to get your significant other who's a woman, like stereotypically more on that spectrum. Yeah. Chances are you can get them in with one of those 3 games.
If they're not somebody who already like, because there's also
already plays them.
Yes. Yeah, right, exactly. Because there's plenty of people that do. But
but that's why I said
like for somebody
to get them into it.
Exactly, like an Ashley and that kind of a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's it's a very broad statement, and it usually
games.
Yes. So, and honestly, I don't even know how much it translates across to. Like, I don't know that Ashley's going to want to play more other games afterwards because of it. Like, I think she's just like, this is her game. This is it, Right. So,
you might be able to nudge her towards other games. You might be able to nudge her.
That's true. Yeah, like
it's like the type of thing that you do, and I think I mentioned that somewhere else where I was like, there's not that many people that. It was when me and Bob, or maybe even me and you, were talking about the indie world thing, where it's like there's people don't double dip on those sort of games. Like people aren't like, I'm currently actively playing Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing.
Right.
It's the sort of thing that like if Ashley gets bored with Animal Crossing, then it's like, hey, maybe you'll like Stardew Valley too. Like it's that.
It's true.
Ella had lost Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing on her 3DS, and she was like, now I have nothing to play, so I bought her a Switch and was like, play Stardew Valley. You're going to like Stardew Valley. Here it is. And then she did. She really liked Stardew Valley.
It's a good old time.
I'm telling you, the batting average is exponential.
Yep. And speaking of comments, 7 says, hey, Parker, sorry for the late comment. I forgive you. I'm really nice.
Do you really?
I don't think you do. Sorry for the late comment. I've been too busy playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. Makes sense. That obviously means I'm kind of obsessed with this game. It's the first thing I do in the morning and the last thing I do at night. I like chill games, but had never played Animal Crossing, so was still unsure how I'd get along with it. Luckily, it turned out to be exactly the thing I needed right now, not just because of certain current events for my own mental health, which had been not all too great lately. I love that I can just go fish and forget about my stresses for a while. I have my second loan, but no shops yet, so I'm kind of going at a slower pace than most, but realize it's good for the soul to be just a bit zen about not doing everything at once and going at your own pace. Agreed. I also still only have 2 starting villagers, Deirdre and Scoot. But that's given me the opportunity to really get to know them, especially Scoot, who I hated at first, but I'm friends with now. My only complaint is that I can't play Animal Crossing New Horizons all day because I have to work, eat, and sleep. My cat and I had a great time watching your video together. Tala, Ashley, and your dogs, that they're gorgeous. Thanks. I will tell you.
Oh yeah, and I tell you, the debate has now started internally. If I'm going to actually get a dog, it's may or may not be happening. Don't know. Was looking at places like I'm probably gonna, like, if I do it, I'm gonna adopt one. Because that's just a nicer thing to do.
It's the best thing to do.
So yeah, looking into that. I'm trying to get a Siberian Husky because they're cool.
Ooh, they are cool. They expensive, even if you just
that's true.
Even if you just rescue.
Yep, it's true.
But they cute and
but
fun.
Worth, dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that was like Winnie was like a half rescue where so that's my golden retriever. Quick story. I'm gonna truncate it. Ashley wanted a golden retriever. Normally they're like probably like $1,200 or something like that. A lot of money for a golden retriever because they just are. But she found on Craigslist that this lady was selling Winnie because they were golden doodle breeders, and they bought Winnie and her sister when they were puppies. But when she turns to being like of age to be able to, like 1 or something, they figured out she had some health condition that meant that she couldn't have puppies. Like, she's fine, but if she had puppies, she or the puppies or both would die. So they kept her around as a year for a pet. And then they were like, we've got a lot of other dogs. We should probably like find her a home that loves just her. And so then we found her, and that was great. So it's like not really a rescue situation, but kind of almost. Yeah. It's like halfway there, but she's wonderful.
Huh.
That is all.
There we go.
There you have it.
About Winnie, I can see you in your face just thinking about Winnie.
She's a sweet old lady. She is an old soul. But yeah, now we've got some Q&A. Oh, any last Animal Crossing thoughts? I mean, we've been talking about it a bunch, but just since we've been playing it.
I want to know how much money you guys have amassed, because I've got my empire building.
Ooh, yeah.
I had so much money.
How many rooms do you have in your house?
I have I have my second floor. So what? That's 4 rooms or whatever.
So AJ's time traveled a little bit. Max, have you time traveled at all?
That has really nothing to do with my house.
I've not touched the internal clock ever. I'm just playing as I go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just did it for the
the
facilities. I didn't do any of that. I didn't time travel to like get my house bigger.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't skip any of the facilities or anything either. I'm just
but you weren't making content.
I was.
Coincidentally, I didn't have to. We thought that potentially my video was going to be on Thursday for this, but because of the direct, I pushed it.
I thought you weren't doing Animal Crossing videos anymore.
No, I was. The last one was going to be the last one until next, because I'm doing Animal Crossing. Well, it was going to be 1 week later, but now it's more like 2 weeks later. I was going to do Animal Crossing 1 week later, and then I'm going to do 1 month later, and then 6 months, and then a year, and then I'm done.
True.
Collect those views.
It's a grand old time, and
is it grand old time?
I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I'm behind you. I have my second room now, so there
I've got my second. Well, I've got my main room, and I've got room up there, room here. So
yes, okay, that's same. So I haven't decorated the other room, although I did just I'm collecting musical instruments. So if you guys come across anything, I now have.
I'm trying to do the same thing, man.
Oh, really? So Ashley got me. Ashley gave me a saxophone and just mailed me a guitar and an amp. Yesterday, I got a pedal board from Bob. He was streaming, and he was like, yo, I got a gift for you. Get online. And I was like, okay. So it came online for like literally all of 10 minutes just to be able to do that. And I was like, hello. And he gave me a pedal board, which is nice.
I have a marimba for you.
I have a marimba too.
Oh, I too have a marimba.
Why didn't you say that in your list of
because I hadn't gotten to it yet.
Isn't there a way to? I think
I also have a tambourine.
There should be a way to get.
Oh, and a microphone.
That's what I need to. No, I lied. I have a microphone. I lied. I'm trying to get a camera. I have a film light. Like I could buy more of them. So I'm like I said it in my video where it's like I'm trying to like just make like a like a creative room. I want cameras. I want freaking lights and music stuff all over the place, man.
Yep.
I want to get like a streaming setup. I saw somebody had a computer. But I don't know. I don't know how to do it.
I don't know.
I'm gonna do a trash room because I've got the trash flooring, I've got the trash walls, and I
Oh
have
my
bags
God.
of trash and tires and. All
I
these
did get
things.
the server wall.
Oh,
Yeah, I
sick.
saw that, but that's
It's really silly. It's just like
What a
beeps and
ridiculous
bloops.
game.
Like
What
one
a
time.
ridiculous game.
It's so, and it was great too because like it was from the rug lady, Sahara, that came around, and she was like, "Would you like mysterious wall?" And I was like, "Sure, why not? Mystery wall, here you go." And I'm like, "Okay." And yeah, I was server room wall, and I also got dark chocolate flooring, and those two things together, I was like,
white chocolate
"What a
flooring.
silly world this is."
And I use it for the bathroom.
Classic, as
Oh,
well
I
you
should
should.
toilet.
Yeah, I don't have.
Yeah, I got a toilet, I got a shower.
I was
Nice.
trying to do a gambling room, so I've got like this
Oh.
red and black spinning wheel, and someone
Oh.
had a bingo turner.
I think Ashley I've got one of these. It's not really, it's just 1 through 8, just like
If you can put it down in front of me as an item.
100%. I will, it's yours.
Oh, well, that's cute. Okay, cool. I was just gonna say if I pick it up and put it back down again, then I can just
Oh,
buy it.
then you can buy it. That's true. You can just have it. I'm
Okay.
good.
Yeah, there was a guy who I know on Twitter called Benji who was like, if you find this toad in my world, you can have this bingo turner. And I messaged him like, dude, before you give it away, can I just pick it up?
I think
So I
Ashley
buy
has
it.
one.
What
The
yeah.
I can grab it from her, drop it in your world just so you can.
And I'll
That's
give
smart.
it back. And I'll give it straight back.
Nice.
Cool.
Look at all this stuff.
Look at it.
We're
Dirty
scheming
deals.
over here,
We
guys.
are scheming.
You can't give people fish and all that stuff, can you?
No.
Okay, so that was
I
something.
tried. I was
Yeah.
in Mega Man's island. He's in the southern hemisphere,
Mhm.
so he's like a cheat code.
Yeah.
but I caught like the freaking fat sunfish,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, "Yo, send me one of those." And I tried, but it wouldn't let me. I couldn't drop it in his world. I couldn't mail it to him because
On the LootPot stream.
that's
they
illegal.
Yep.
Everyone on the LootPot stream went to Mega Man's world while I was asleep. Should have been awake. They went to Mega Man's world, and there's a clip I saw where Pete's like, "Oh, there's an eel, but I've already got an eel. So Mega Man, do you want to do it?" So he Mega Man was like, "Yeah, cool." And he fished up this like weird looking like blue and yellow thing, and Pete was like, "What the hell? I don't have one of those." And Mega Man was like, "I've got one already. Sorry." And he was like, "No, why did I give it away?"
That's really funny. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, given things, you can't do it.
You can give.
Oh yes, I remember what I was going to say. This is a question later, but I'll probably just start opening up my Switch so that like after I've done my daily things or whatever. Because yeah, somebody asked. I think Mega Man actually asks. Here, let's go ahead and get to the Q&A.
Wait, isn't there one? There's one more. Oh no, that's the YouTube community.
Yeah, that was. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. We'll get to the comments when we get to them. Q&A. Everybody, you can ask questions. We love answering the questions. Just doing it. Here we go. YouTube community. Colorful Commentary said, "What are your long-term goals for Animal Crossing New Horizons?" Right now, I have 3 goals. Number 1, find my best friend from New Leaf. Number 2, get that BA Gundam robot helper. And number 3, yeah, probably. I don't know. And number 3, fill up my town with white roses. Also, get rid of my ugly villagers.
None of the villagers are ugly. There are no ugly villagers. How dare you?
I don't know. Bob has a robot peacock or whatever, and that's like,
oh my
what
God,
a robot villager, man.
It's pretty bad.
I didn't know he had that.
I think it was.
Oh
no, it wasn't Bob. It wasn't Bob. Sorry, it was. Yesterday, I also went to another friend of mine's because he needed oranges.
I mean, it could have been Bob. I haven't been in Bob's stream.
It could have, but I think it was the other one. Come to think of it, yeah, I went to my friend Zach's island and gave him some oranges, and then just ran around in circles, and that was it. So what are your long-term goals for Animal Crossing New Horizons, guys?
I want the like creative like streaming sort of room, and then I want to like fill out the rest of my house and just make it like a normal ass house. So I want my room, I want a freaking bathroom and a kitchen, and all that stuff.
Did you guys see the video that somebody put up today? It was a Japanese Twitter.
Yeah, it was like a straight up city.
It was just city, yeah.
Yeah. Like
I don't think I want that, to be perfectly honest. Like, I don't know, because it didn't have like really any greenery. I mean, it looked like an anime city for sure.
Oh yeah, it was mental.
And like, yeah, that seems like a bit much for me personally.
I think I want to do that because like I very purposely am putting like all the like facilities on one part of the island, and then like houses on another part of the island, you know. So I think I'll probably do that for like the part with all the facilities, and make that more like city like, and then everything else just leave that like. Yeah,
I want to keep a foresty area for sure. You know, that feels like mountains and stuff.
I think you have to if you want to like make your island like a high level island, because the whole thing, like, they want a balance of natural beauty and, you know, modern civilization.
Just like me.
Sure.
I don't know.
Which one are you, the natural beauty or the modern civilization?
I'm the modern civilization.
Nice.
I've got a nose ring. That's how you know.
That is modern.
That's true. Modern. That's true. I don't know how. Right there. I don't know how modern it is.
My favorite is like I think Stryker this week was like, I just noticed you have a nose ring, and I'm like, yeah, it really doesn't show up very well.
I see that a lot of people like commenting like questioning if you have a nose ring. They're like, do you have
my favorite though was like really early on, probably like within 3 months or something of one of my videos, somebody was like, this guy looks way too preppy to have a nose ring, and I was like, okay, whatever. It was a fun time. I was like, I mean, I guess sure, like I'll show you my Spotify library. You can disagree if you want, but in any case, there's all that stuff. What about you, Max? Any long-term goals?
I have. So one of my goals is just to have like a wardrobe full of just like cool garms that I can just sort of. Because I spend so much time in this game making my own clothes, like doing all the hats and doing all the t-shirts and the hoodies and putting the coats and stuff like that. And earlier, my mate, I had a message like,
you should have a clothing line and charge people for it.
That's it. That's the goal, right? When I can share clothes. A friend of mine he said, "Oh, I got this for you. I thought you might like it. It was a fleece." I was like, this is perfect. I didn't know this existed in the game.
I just recently got I wasn't playing it. I got a rainbow sweater that's like very nice it's like a 90. It's nice. I'll drop it in your worlds for you as well. I think
yeah, man. Yeah, so I can pick it up. Yeah, there's a lot of like stuff that I'm just like, I was trying to get a bunch of clothes. I want to get all of the options. I need to find out the shit. I've been wearing these red sliders with socks for days now.
I have so many shoes. I have so many shoes. There's like a person that exclusively sells shoes.
I've met him yet.
They come into your island, and he's like, "Yo, dude, I got all types of shoes and bags. All I sell is shoes and bags."
Where are the black? All I have is these red sliders. I want shoes. Another thing I want to do.
I have high tops. I got all
types of shoes. I was wearing the boots for ages. Another thing I want is
my sneakers.
I want all of the bugs and fish.
Yeah,
I want to fill out the Crispedia. And
that's a year-long endeavor, at least.
Yeah,
I just want to have like a nice camping aesthetic going on with the whole thing. I want to feel cozy. I want to be able to sit around a campfire. I want that to be like a 90s summer camp vibe, sort of like, what's that TV series where they're in like a camp for the summer and everything's like trees and there's weird things going on and
Gravity Falls.
Gravity Falls, that's
it. I just started watching that. It's good. I need to watch more of it. It's fun.
I want that kind of aesthetic going on.
If you, for what it's worth, there's Gravity Falls and Rick and Morty are we're going to be in kind of the same universe because Justin Roiland does a couple of voices in Gravity Falls, but is like real good friends with the creator of that show. So there's that. It's a fun time. It's a really good, like, it's always got like weird things like, it's just this place, but also there's zombies randomly and like some wax figures are coming to life, that kind of stuff. Right? Like,
I have Disney Plus, so I can probably change it.
Yep. I just started. It's a good time.
Cool.
Yeah, as far as my long-term goals, I don't even totally know yet. I think some of the same kinds of things. I'm not holding myself to any of them particularly, like filling out the Critterpedia. That's something that I'm going to aspire to, but also like if I didn't get a string fish by the end of March,
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to get a string fish.
Yeah, Mitch used up, he said, 100 fish bait last night trying to get it to happen. First thing this morning, just a random one at a spot he hadn't even tried shows up. So like, and like no fish bait or anything. So
I was at a friend's village just before I came on here, their island, and the connection was so bad. I took with me like 30
fish bait?
What you call it? Yeah. But the connection was so bad that I put it down and then nothing would happen. The fish that was there would still be there. And I would like, okay, I'll do it again. I went through all 30. I think I only maybe spawned, because it's the big fish, right? It's a big fish.
Apparently, yeah.
So I only managed to spawn in 3 of them, and half of those are probably just dead bait that just disappeared and didn't actually do anything.
For what it's worth, I wonder if it would be beneficial to have put in like some spots have a house right up next to it, you know, where you could like go in the door and respawn things, because like I think that's how some of that kind of works, but I don't know for sure.
Very clever.
Yeah, because that's how like when shiny hunting in Pokemon Let's Go, that's a really easy way to do it, is just go in and out of a door, and then if there's I wait for stuff to spawn, because like then you can just go in, you know, and but I don't have another house that I can put up there and any of that, so.
I can move a house now. I might put my house up there. But I don't want to put someone up there. I don't want to put someone away from there. I also don't want to build a ramp, because the ramp's like so expensive, like 100,000 at minimum. No. Can't do that right now.
It's dumb.
You gotta do it eventually, man.
True.
Oh yeah.
You also have to read all the rest of the comments eventually. Sorry. Here we go.
No, you do.
I meant to say we. It came out as not we. From Discord. Rosa Sabe asks, which tree grows better in Animal Crossing, pears or oranges?
I mean, I don't know if there's a difference, but anecdotally, my oranges take forever to grow. Man, obviously your oranges don't, because they're
exactly. I think it's probably the same would be my guess. I think it's just like anecdotally, because like you probably planted a ton of your oranges at once. I planted a bunch of my pears at once. So it feels like, oranges are just coming up all over the place, because like they, you know, spawn in different days and stuff like that. But probably the same would be my guess.
Yes.
A wall of questions from Grimhain that he thankfully posted not as a wall, but here they are. Before
you start with the Grimhain stuff, I think I have to dip.
Okay.
Of course, it's the main segment.
For the
bits. Not related to that. It's just it's the best time to do it, because this is going to be a long time. I need to go. Let's sit and wait through this. We're going to be going for ages. Thank you for having me on. It's been a lot of fun. Love talking to you guys. To everyone else, lootpots.com. We're now streaming on twitch.tv/lootpots. We're doing Animal Crossing probably every day of the week. You might even see me on that stream later today. I'm just going to sort of see what's going on with that. See when they're going to record. And yeah, thanks for having me on, and I'll speak to you all soon.
Okay, bye.
See you, Max. Have a good old time. Bye. Cool.
Wait,
all right.
Wait, I'm still here.
He's still here.
I quit. I quit. Bye.
Who's to say?
Bye.
Bye.
Before. Bye.
All right, cool. Here we go. Moving right along. Grimhaina has a bunch of questions. People complained about the lack of third-party games on Switch. Now, after a mini direct chock full of third-party games, albeit many ports of older games, people are complaining about a lack of first-party games in the direct. Despite a heavy back half to 2019, and with many first-party games already known to be in the works, why are people dumb, and will they ever be happy?
No. And I don't know. I've been trying to figure out why people are dumb for years, man. For 26 of them, to be specific. Never found out, you know. I've never learned why people are dumb. Maybe that is the meaning of life, discovering why people are dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always just going to be people want what they feel like they don't have right now. So right now, people don't know about a whole lot of first party games, so they want that. But like it's just like it's hard to A, please everyone at once, and B, like there's just not enough content to be able to be like, here's all the things you want, because it has to be spread out, you know?
I just think it's weird that it seems like people on the internet that complain about every Nintendo Direct are never content with the games that they have.
Right.
So it's like, maybe you just don't like games. You know, it's like, because I've definitely reached a point where, like, outside of this being my job, if Nintendo never announced another Switch game, you know, and they just like moved on to the next console, I'd be fine. I'd be like, okay, cool. You know, I got plenty of Switch stuff that like I want to play that I can't, because there's too much stuff, and also too much Smash Brothers to play. So like, I don't need a like major, like this game is going to last you 4 months or whatever announcement. The little things are honestly preferable to me for that reason, where it's like, I like having new experiences and stuff like that, but it needs to either be really big and really exciting and really, like, you know, like something I really, really want to play for me to dive into it, or really small so that I can jump in, finish it, and be done.
I mean, it feels like the same reason that people go to the movies when they have Netflix, because like Netflix has so much stuff and plenty of it. honestly, Disney Plus almost feels like a better example, because before Disney Plus came out, they were like, we're going to have this, we're going to have this, we're going to have that, and then we're going to have that. But ahead of time, I even know for myself, there were a bunch of things I was like, oh, nice, I'm excited to watch that thing. And now that it's out, I haven't watched that thing, you know? So I think there's always this feeling of wanting to look forward to stuff, but then without taking stock of being like, oh wait, I've got things that I can do. And I think it's a natural thing, and it's fine. And it's fine to want to be excited about it. But then there's the negative side of it too, where it's like, if you're mad because they don't have such and such, then that's, that turns.
And that's the space that I occupy. Like, obviously I get excited when they announce a Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
for sure.
A Nintendo Direct, new games. But when it's not like this major big thing, I'm still like, there has never in the history of Nintendo Directs been like not at least 2 announcements that I was like, that's dope, Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh my God, my life has changed for me to be like, this Nintendo Direct was worth waiting for, or watching, or whatever the case may be.
Yep. So, yeah, and I think, I'm sure to some degree too, there's new fans coming on all the time. Like, I was disappointed at the E3 2017 Direct back when that happened, even though it was a great Direct, because there were a bunch of series that they talked about that I didn't know to care about at the time. Like, I hadn't ever played a Metroid game. Well, I technically still haven't, sorry. But so when Metroid Prime 4 was an announcement, that didn't impact me at all. I was like, oh, and I hadn't even been in the conversation long enough to know that this is like a huge deal for some people.
Yeah, right.
For me, I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's happening. And then I watched reaction videos afterwards, and I was like, whoa, people are like, why is he so excited about this? So probably there's more people every day that are in that camp that I was in, because like I was just frustrated that their one more thing was talking about Mario Odyssey for like 10 minutes at the end of the Direct, and then it just ended, as opposed to having like one last big bang. But it was so, like that. I think probably, I'd guess anybody that's been around in the Switch world for a couple of years has probably come around to understanding what the Directs are, or maybe they haven't. Maybe, I don't know is the real answer. So, and it's especially people, I think, if you don't own a Switch and are waiting to buy a Switch until such and such happens, then I don't know when that's going to actually happen. There's tons of games, and there are a lot of good ones, but also whatever. Next question from Grimhaim. Which fruit is the best fruit of the Animal Crossing fruits? Fanatix Foods, with actual game crossover.
Oranges. Definitively.
I mean, that's my oranges. I mean, that's my fruit from my city.
Oranges. Done. Settled.
I'm going to say pears. It's pears.
Nah.
Yep. Because and as far as I know, they're the best versions of pears that they could be. Every one of them looks pristine in their condition, so they're delicious.
See, but this is another wrinkle that you never established. You didn't say that pears are theoretically your favorite fruit.
No, but theoretically better than the other ones that are in there. It's red apples for one thing.
So wait, do you theoretically like oranges, or you don't like oranges?
No, I like oranges.
So you don't make.
But I make lots of sense. Pears are finicky. Really good pears that I've had have been really good, but so often I've had pears I'm like, that one wasn't a really good one. So like oranges are very consistent, very consistently pretty good. Like good oranges, I like them, cool. But a really good pear pops on top of that. So within the game, like they got range. All right, moving along. While I'm forced to admit Animal Crossing is fun, there are some issues. First and foremost, the gating at the start of the game, which almost seems to encourage players to time travel just to get some basics set up to enable them to play freely. We all know tutorials are generally the most disliked parts of games. Why would Nintendo implement a tutorial with a time-gated mechanic?
I don't know. I think that, I think the reason why they did it is because Animal Crossing is a time-gated game. But the problem with it is that it's too slow. Like a lot of the fun with Animal Crossing is that it's slow. But the tutorial specifically is like the extreme of that, and it's as slow as you'll ever really get with the game. That said, I think that for the people that like it didn't impact a lot of the people that got the game now, because it's like they get the game at midnight. So like you play, and the game doesn't adhere to our time in the way that you think it would, where the next day is at midnight, the next day is at 6 o'clock or whatever. So you can get the game midnight on freaking the 20th of March, and then wake up the next morning and it be the next day in Animal Crossing, and the game progresses. Whereas for people that get it later, they don't, unless they get it around the same time frame where it's like, I just randomly downloaded Animal Crossing at midnight, and then I'm going to play for an hour and go to sleep, you know? It doesn't line up in that way. But I think it's just a victim of how the overall game works, that and they didn't front load it with enough content to make that feel like the rest of the days will. Through the tutorial. So
it does seem like, I mean, to what you said, they could have easily made the first, because they did make a first sleep artificial. You know, they made you take a nap essentially after you landed there, and then have, you know, whatever time within still that tutorial thing. But it seems like they could have done that just one more time, and then let you be able to experience the second day on the first day, at which point then the game really does open up from there, and you've gotten the tutorial. So I
honestly think that how I played it, where it's like there was very specific things where it's like, I'm fine with waiting for the museum or whatever, I'll wait for that, but like the residence center, like that day where you can't do anything, that was a day where it's like, I'm fine with skipping this because I'm not learning anything. I'm not really unlocking anything specific. It's not really this like trial by fire sort of situation. I'm just waiting for the sake of waiting. So I was fine with skipping that. I didn't feel like I lost anything. But like skipping other things where it's like, man, a new shop is coming to town, you know, like that sort of thing. I think that takes away from it. So there's like early parts of the game that like the early part that Grimhane's talking about, I would say like I wouldn't fault somebody for like time traveling like 3-4 days in the first week, not like in a row, but be like, all right, this day is forgettable, there's not really anything happening here, I can skip this and not really feel like I cheated in that sense.
It is funny because that's, I mean, like, again, we were talking about it on Wolf Den Live, so like the pay to win sort of mechanic is time, is the like currency that you can choose to opt out and be like, oh, I'm going to pay with my time by switching the clock to be able to get that a little bit earlier. It is funny because like, in most games they're like, oh, this thing, you're going to have to wait for it unless you want to pay us money. And this is like, well, you're going to have to wait for it unless you want to skip some things. But I mean, it depends also like what the parts of it that you enjoy are, because like for me, even on the days where I have to wait for stuff, I enjoy, like I can go on trips or stuff like that. Like there's things that I'll enjoy doing the activity of it. But if there was nothing that I enjoyed about the activity of it during those days, I'd have a lot more incentive to time travel because I'm like, oh, I want to do that thing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's like hard and fast rule of why it's what's better or worse or anything like that, but I get where you're coming from at the same time. And I do think that first day should have been able to be skipped. It was, again, because like you said, for me, it was fine because I got it at midnight and et cetera, et cetera. But for somebody else, if they got it like, 8 a.m. on Friday, I'm going to get this game now, and then they have to play the tutorial day all day, that's kind of lame.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. Along these same lines, he says, the controls for digging, picking up stuff, and terraforming are a little off at times. While most of this has fairly little impact on the game, do you think Nintendo will address these issues with a fix to the controls or the game's sense of direction you're facing?
Wait, you got terraforming already?
Apparently.
I don't know what the controls are for terraforming.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I mean, probably like digging and picking up stuff and whatever, where it's like where you're facing isn't always very obvious, which I mean, like I've experienced that too. I don't know, it doesn't feel like the kind of thing to me that would get patched differently. The only thing I could see them doing, partly because
it feels like a very specifically Animal Crossing thing.
Yeah,
like that's just how they control, and people are fine with it. So it's not like a top issue. It's not like on the level of something like Pokemon, where there's like a contingent of people like me that were like, wild encounters, annoying, gotta
Mhm.
go, you know? I don't even think within like the Animal Crossing fandom, there's people that make a big deal of it.
Mhm.
Even in that regard, like there's like one freaking Animal Crossing influencer that's like, movement Animal Crossing sucks, you know?
Yeah. I like what was I gonna say? It's a grid system. The world
Mhm.
is built on a grid system. And it tells you that with items, like when and when you're moving stuff in your house, but
Mhm.
in the world, it almost feels like they don't want it to be too obvious that it's a good,
Mhm.
because I mean, I know that, but then I had to explain it to Ashley at one point where she was trying to dig somewhere and she's like, why won't this, there's plenty of space there, why does it say there's not enough space there? I'm like, well, because like there actually is a grid system where it needs this much space and you're standing in the way edge of the space that you would be putting it in, which in real life would be fine, but because of the game, blah, blah, blah. So like it would be helpful for them to show that, but at the same time, I think it would take you out of the world a little bit more, maybe, is what they think in any case. I don't know. That's my only guess for why maybe they wouldn't do it. But it would be nice if there could be a reticle of some sort that showed just like a very vague outline of like a box around the square that you're facing when you're doing certain activities, like digging or whatever. But I don't know. I haven't terraformed though, so I don't even know about that.
Same. I don't know how that works.
Continuing on. I'm sure you've mentioned it, but thoughts on Animal Crossing shattering Pokemon Sword and Shield's physical release in Japan, with some saying it sold even more as digital. Do you think it will have a chance at topping Pokemon Sword and Shield's lifetime sales over the life of the Switch, or were people who might get this game just going to get it on release, given the relatively low spending period we have now, i.e. no holiday season to present a drain on folks' wallets?
I could see this selling more than Pokemon. I think the appeal is wider than Pokemon, for sure. Just because like Pokemon, even though like as a property is really approachable and it has like characters that people are like, I love that design, that looks great or whatever. At the end of the day, if you're going to buy a Pokemon game, you got to play a Pokemon game, and that's like on some level a competitive, like more heady sort of thing, whereas Animal Crossing is literally just emulating what you probably do every day anyway, regardless of who you are. So it's easy to like pick up and understand and like have like have something you want to do, whereas in Pokemon you got to care about the world you're in at least a little bit to want to get the badges and stuff like that. You don't have to care, you don't have to be invested to play Animal Crossing.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's stuff that Pokemon has going for it, and there's stuff Animal Crossing is going for it. This being the only Animal Crossing game in a long time, a lot of people looking forward to it and stuff. It has a lot going for it. Whereas Pokemon, like had some bad press, which didn't hurt it that much, I don't think, but maybe hurt it a little. Where like it could
I think
be that
also looking at like their sales trajectory is another part about it, where it's like Pokemon kind of has like it was a certain number with blue and green and red or whatever, and then it lowered a little bit with gold and silver, and then it lowered again a little bit with ruby and sapphire, and then it kind of like stayed there. And now it's more or less within that range, and it goes up sometimes it goes down, but it doesn't.
DLC will be something that'll be interesting to see if that impacts it or not and has some bumps that come up. I think the other thing too, both these games feel like ones that had some amount of contingency of like, this will be the first game of this series that I try, kind of a thing, but I think it's paid off a lot more for Animal Crossing fans than it has for Pokemon fans, or not for fans, but for newcomers to Animal Crossing than newcomers.
Yeah, because because the newcomers don't have the fans poo-pooing the experience.
Yeah, exactly.
That are new to it, being like, well, if they don't like it, I don't.
Yeah, and frankly, like I feel like
talking about yesterday with what my niece used to do when she was younger. When she was a baby, she would hurt herself and then survey the situation and see if we react like, oh my gosh, she hurt herself.
Right.
Before she cried.
Yeah.
And that's what the newcomers are doing, where it's like, all right, am I supposed to?
Is this one good? Do we? Yeah. And everybody was like, not everybody, but a lot of people were like, yeah, don't.
Yeah.
That's not, So, that's, and I don't know. I have a bunch of thoughts there, but I could see Animal Crossing in any case continuing to sell better in the long run. The fact that we are where we are definitely adds to the fact that like, maybe everybody or a lot of the people who are going to buy it have already bought it, maybe, but also Switches are hard to come by right now. So there could be people that aren't able to play it right now, and we'll have to get a Switch later for it. So I don't know. Really could go one way or the other, but yeah, we'll see. Yep. And then last question from Grimhane says, will Parker let supporters onto the mysterious Parker Island where your wildest dreams come true, but at a terrible price? Yeah, that was what I was saying earlier. I'll probably start just like whenever I'm playing online, and if I've already done my like regular things, I'll just open the gates to any Switch friends of mine or whatever, and then come on over, as it were. And I'll make supporters best friends, so you guys can do whatever, and then other people you can
that's what I do. That's my rationale, is usually like supporters are best friends, and then like if you have my friend code for whatever reason, or I'm playing Smash Brothers or whatever, everybody else is there, so like I think they might.
Do you leave yours just open most of the time?
Nah, not really. But no specific reason why or why not. Sometimes I'll randomly open it, like I'll be playing with somebody and I'll just open it, and I won't like say like don't come to my island or like limit it in any way. I'll just open it to everybody, and if you see it, you see it. You come in, come in.
My island, for what it's worth, also, because it'll be like if there's only one open, it'll just be like, oh, there's this island. Do you want to? It's called Peninsula. So there you go. That's one. If you see that one open, that's moi. So, but yeah, I'll try to remember to do that a little bit more in any case. So if you guys see me, come on over. Yeah, so there you go. Good questions, Grimhane. Lots of them. And thank you so much. Mega Man asks, but why is Animal Crossing so much fun?
Because, man.
If honestly, I thought about this too. If I think about it too much, it would a little bit be less. It's better to not think about it, I think, because like when you like understand the loop of something, it can sometimes kind of break it and like take you out of it. So it's sometimes better just be like, man, I don't know, it's great. Even though I think we all know,
it's like, literally just Minecraft. I want to do a thing, so I need to do other things. Those things become enjoyable because they're designed well enough where it doesn't feel like a hindrance. It doesn't feel like, oh, I have to fish.
Catching bugs is like a fun thing to just actively do. Like Ashley was saying that earlier. She was like, it's just like, I like catching bugs because it's really rewarding to like, bloop,
Yeah. Because it's like again, like we talked about this before, but like on a macro level, playing Animal Crossing is not fun in the traditional sense. But once you look at the nitty gritty of like the things you need to do to accomplish your overarching goals, those nitty gritty things are fun in the traditional sense. And that's why Animal Crossing is like, because it's both rewarding, like most life sims are, but it also injects that Nintendo like gameplay centric feel, and fuses it all together in a nice.
Love a good feel. It's true. Last question from Discord is from Duncan, who says, yo, do y'all have a favorite piece of Animal Crossing content, be it a shirt, hat, wallpaper, art, etc., that you've come across so far? If so, what is it? Love you guys. Hope you're staying safe and healthy.
I like the Fanatix Four logo that Mega Man made, and I also like the automatic one and the directly to you one.
Yep.
Those are cool.
I need
like
to
seeing people
grab those and do stuff with that.
Those are neat. I like the freaking music stuff, like all that, like the creative things, like all that, like how people are doing like album arts and stuff. Those are cool.
Yep. Ashley's got a bunch of those going on in hers. I haven't done any of the QR code stuff. I mean, I've made a couple of things. Like I made a welcome mat that says hello, and whatever. But other than that,
is it like the welcome mat that says both is like welcome and also like get out or something like that? If you look at it from different perspectives,
is that one?
Yeah, that's like a fun real thing. I don't know if anybody.
I might have something like that in my house. You don't know. I've tried. I haven't done, like, my goal again is to like hide secrets all around my world, and I haven't really done that yet. I haven't thought of a lot of ways of doing it. For one thing, like mechanically, I just can't really think of how to do some of that.
Right now, I'm just getting a rough idea of like, this is what I want my house to look like, and this is kind of what it was like, the stuff about like, I want all the facilities on this part of the island. Like, that's real rough. And then once I get like way later in the game, once my house is fully upgraded and I got all types of monies to do whatever I want, that's when I'm getting into the real like, you know, like minutia of like infrastructure of like, this part is going to be city, and this is going to be just wilderness, and this is going to be the beach, and this, you know, stuff.
Yep, it's true. So yeah, I don't know. It's just a good time. We got 2 more questions. These are from Twitter. Sorry, these are all the way at the end, but it's where we are. So Falcon and Jordan, thank you for asking them. Here we go. Falcon says, what are your favorite non-gaming hobbies?
Listen to music.
What interest? So I feel like you said at some point recently that you kind of like fallen out of music or don't really care anymore. So like, what is that?
It's just like, I'm just so, especially like with music specifically, because like I used to like spend most of my time making it. It's the same thing of like when I watch things on TV or whatever, where I was like, I get so entrenched in like thinking about like, oh, and this is how they made that, or even just in the idea of like, if I think a story is endearing enough, it feels like, or felt like, it was too active of a thing for me to do, to be able to do in the same way that TV feels like that.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I just have so many games that I can play that are like brain dead enough where I can like listen to music and it's fine. Whereas like at this time, at this point, Smash Brothers, more often than not, it's pretty brain dead for me, where it's like, I'm just sitting there and just freaking mindlessly doing the things that I know will work. Where it's like, oh, I'm Squirtle, I just know I got to dash attack and then up air a bunch of times and you'll probably die eventually. Against most people. So I can like listen to music or like podcasts and do that sort of thing. So like, I like doing that. That's probably what, like, if I'm playing a game like Smash Brothers, I'm probably listening to music too.
Yep. That's, I mean, I get that too. Cause like you'd think as somebody who plays a lot of music that I'd like going to concerts because it's other people playing music. And I generally don't.
That stuff, it's kind of like why I don't watch a lot of gaming YouTubers. It feels like work.
Yeah,
it's like I'm doing a job.
It's like I have an existential crisis most concerts that I go to. There's like sometimes where it's the right factors where that's not the case and it's great. But most of the time there is one element of like, why am I not writing as much stuff anymore? Why am I not recording? Like that kind of like guilt about me not doing the musical things that I'd like to have done. And then also just over analyzing all the stuff that's going on rather than just being like, I'm just taking it all in and listening to it as a song. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. Like drummer's got sick ghost notes or whatever. I don't know, whatever, you know, those kinds of things where like, I'm just paying too much attention to all the details and not enjoying it for that reason. Yeah. That, but I mean, I do love playing music and stuff. And it's, I mean, I've got a bunch of guitars and stuff right here, and it's nice to just have those. Like oftentimes if I'm working from home and I'm like on work meetings or whatever, it's just nice to have them there too, to play. Cause I really haven't been actually doing a whole lot of stuff with them recently, like writing and recording and all that, but I'd always like to. And I used to a lot.
That's like another part of it too, that I'm bad at. I'm bad at having hobbies. Yeah. Like I can't just have a hobby that's a hobby, you know?
Right. Yes.
All my hobbies I freaking monetize in some way or whatever. I like turn it into a job. So it's like eventually I like either don't want to do it or I don't have time to do it in the way that I want to do it.
Yeah. That's because I'm the same way, where I want to turn it into something that's like more than I have goals for it or whatever.
Yeah, like you're trying to justify doing your hobby by making it more than that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why, like, I mean, there's been times where like I wanted to spend money on a drum kit, but like at the time, I don't remember what it was. Oh, okay. This is a good example. Is like, there was a while where I was doing a lot of my acoustic music and I'd be doing stuff in different tunings. So it made sense. Like I have one acoustic guitar. It would make sense to have a second acoustic guitar so I can have alternate tunings on that one, switch between the two. If a string breaks because I'm changing tunings every song, then we're good. Well, I can just move along with one. But then I stopped playing out as much. And then now at this point, it's like, it doesn't make sense to have another guitar. But for a lot of people, you just have more guitars and that's fine. And like, just do it because you enjoy having them. So for me, it's a very like ROI kind of thinking thing. And it's like,
and that's why I'm bad at having hobbies, because I'm very much so like that, where it's like, if I do this, will I actually do it? Like, do I have the mental And just, like not only just the mental bandwidth, but the time.
Yeah, right.
As much time as I want to do it, because like then I'll just have 57 jobs.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, that stuff. Watching shows also with Ashley and hanging out with Ashley and with friends. That's a thing. So.
Watching shows, I can't like at this point. I can't even like that's like not a favorite hobby for the opposite reason of like. I feel like I just feel obligated to do it. Like whenever, and that's why I don't like people recommending me stuff, because then I feel like I have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Simpsons thing, it's an assignment at this point.
Right.
It's like, all right, I need to watch one episode of Simpsons per day.
Of Simon the Day. Yeah, no, I feel you. But good stuff. And last question from Jordan says, "What's the one game you could always replay?"
Smash Brothers. Does that count?
Let's say no, just for because.
I mean, Pokemon games.
Yeah.
Especially like the further away they are, like I don't know if I want to freaking replay Pokemon Ultra Sun because it was last gen, or even this Pokemon like Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
But like I'll freaking replay Pokemon X and Y or Pokemon Alpha Sapphire or what,
Mm-hmm.
Those games are always fun to go back.
Yeah, I mean that is one for me. Pokemon Blue is one that like even if it's janky and whatever, in a lot of ways, but that's probably one of the ones I have replayed the most times and would. But at this point, it kind of has to be on an emulator. Like I can't.
How dare you?
Just we're
even true. Get freaking 3DS and download it.
No. I just mean because I have it on my 3DS.
Oh, you mean
because
like,
it's so slow? Like just not in terms of anything except for like walking speed and like.
Oh, you mean just so you can like do the like freaking like Virtual Boy like 2 times speed and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
I mean exactly. Just moving around is like all of the specific thing because I know exactly what I'm trying to do. So it's like it feels just slow in that regard in a literal sense. But in any case, that one. The other one, honestly, like there's a lot of games this gen I could say probably. But again, that I have replayed a lot of times is the GameCube, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King that I mentioned way earlier. That was on my mind because I knew this question was coming. I've probably. So, I mean, the way that it works, there's a tree of levels pretty much that like you play one and like you go through it and, beat things. And then you unlock more levels and there's different characters doing their storylines and they all converge at the end. I probably restarted that game, I don't know, a dozen times back in high school. And that was just like my friend James would come over and we'd play half the game and like unplug the audio from that game and plug my iPod mini in and like play August Burns Red or whatever and just like go to town with some metal and playing Lord of the Rings till 6 a.m. And we're like, it's really late.
It's 6 a.m.
Yeah. So that's just like a fun time. So I actually have that game again. I rebought it and I have it on the GameCube, but I just don't plug in my Wii to play GameCube games ever. So but it's a great game and I enjoy playing it. And that's it, guys. We did the thing. That was this almost 3 hours?
I don't know.
I think this has been almost 3. Oh my goodness. Because we started at like, maybe it's 2.5 and we just started later than I thought.
Oh, yeah, no, we started late because we started at like 4:45 or something.
Yeah, which would be almost 3 hours.
No, we started at like 5.
Maybe so.
Because like we started the call and then he was like late or whatever.
It's true.
But anyway, you guys know how long it is.
It's true. And we're going to know shortly because we're going to have to do some things about it.
Shortly because it's a process.
Yeah. But in any case, thank you so much for here. You can do the outro stuff.
Thanks for listening, dude. Like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're on audio podcast services, you can. If you have comments, leave a comment. If you have ratings, rate and review us, dude. Please.
It's true.
It helps the show, and more people will find it, and that'll help the show get better. Like anytime people's like, whenever people are like, "Yo, you should get whoever on the show," like whatever YouTuber or whatever, that makes it easier for us to do that because we can say, "Hey, our show is this rating and this many people listen to it," and blah blah blah, which means better content for all of you. Thanks.
Accurate. Bye.
Goodbye.